Yeah, we're going there. St. Patrick.
I thought the Pope was to hang out in the background.
Just a lot of squabbling and babbling going on in the background.
I think I've only met one of you guys.
Hush up, Sniffles. Hit the button.
Hi, people.
This is a warning to all living mortals. That who shall ever open this chest of demons will release 13 of the most terrifying ghosts upon the face of the earth. Okay, cut it. This isn't going to work. Let's try some nostalgia bait.
It's mighty strange. You looking happily range. I can't be sailors in bed. Or have you picked your target yet? It's in bed. Got your dog bite. It's in bed.
Okay, that was better. But let's try something a bit more cinematic.
Hey, where my broken arrows at? They try to tell us we can't fly. Like we too broken or something. I mean, I'd rather let them know. Hold up, hold up, hold up. My squad about to roll up. Hold up, hold up. My squad about to roll up. Broken arrows, get them balls up. Get them balls up. Get them balls up. Get them balls up. Hold up, hold up. My squad about to roll up. Hold up. Hold up, my squad about to roll up, all the way up, get them balls, 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 all the way up. Broken arrows get bows up, sometimes I pray with my nose up, thinking about when the world crumbles and my whole squad just goes up. Whoa. Ain't gotta worry, we straight like an arrow, yeah. Ain't gotta worry about faith, nope. I'm on that straight and the narrow, yeah. I just go straight like an arrow, yeah.
Yeah, that's the shit I like. Let's start the Barroom podcast. Take it away, Jacob.
Hey guys, it's episode 127. I'm sick, so I feel like crap. I feel like I got ran over by a bus, and the bus went in reverse and ran me over again, then went forward and ran me over a third time. So that's how I feel. But I got a packed house here of people joining us for episode 127. If you guys realize, we've technically done 3 barrooms in 1 week. We did a special impromptu episode 126 and a half on Friday, literally because we just didn't have anything else to do, and we were sick of our families at that point. But we're here. We're here back for 127, and I got a Rolodex of people joining us here tonight. Our good buddy Orange Hat's back with us. How you doing, Orange?
Doing well, guys. Doing well.
All right. Rick's here early, so there you go. You're everyone's favorite Asian.
I am multicultural, but you know, today is my actual birthday, so everyone be nice.
Well,
happy birthday, today, you worldly mutt.
Bless
you. How old are you?
No comprendo, okay?
You're 45. Okay, thank you.
44.
I'm just guessing.
Je
ne comprends pas.
Today was a pretty big day for Asians. I'm not sure if you guys saw the news, but South Korea declared martial law for like 3 hours.
That was my birthday party
like 3 seconds.
Went out of hand. Okay,
there you go.
I apologize because the president was was throwing me a nice big party, and then he just got carried away and he said, you know what? Let me give you all of South Korea as your birthday gift. And I said, you know what? I could just take maybe Seoul. I don't need the whole continent. And
but it was like for like 3 hours today, South Korea just declared martial law, and the entire country was like, "What are you doing, guy? Like, you can't do this. No, we're not doing this."
Somali.
He had no support. It was so weird. It was like, we're gonna do this, and then everyone was like, "No, we're not."
Well, you can't just like run outside with like a shotgun, being like, "We're going to war," and it's like, too late. What? No.
Cannot wait to see that dude do 10 years in prison.
You know the South Koreans, they just don't do insurrections as good as we do. You know, we need to learn from us.
That's a whole other can of worms. We'll get to here in a second.
Yeah,
but see, this was an actual like authoritarian grab, and like everybody was just like, "Yeah, we're not with you."
Yeah. Everyone was just like, no.
And they did it in the most chill way possible. It was like the lamest resistance to tyranny you've ever seen in your life. Like the guys in Georgia are like, "It's that easy? It's that easy?"
Everyone was like, "Hey, look, it's way too close to New Year's to be going into martial law and civil unrest." It's like, at least wait till after December is over.
We need to clarify. We need to clarify. Cider meant the nation of Georgia, not the state of Georgia.
Right. Sorry, it's that other one.
No, I literally have to always check because that's how U.S. centric I am. Where I'm like, oh, I don't care about a Russian country that will go back to Russia someday. I don't.
Oh, I'll show you to make you care about what's going on in Georgia. It's some pretty badass stuff that's going on there right now. It's not great, but it's badass. But South
the only
Korea.
redeeming thing about that country here is their women are nice.
It's true. It's true. But one thing I want to point out about South Korea was watching the Associated Press coverage of it. My favorite comment was like this lone string of Korean text. I copy and pasted it into Google Translate, and it says, "This is all happening because BTS is secretly disbanding." They just declared martial law to stop them from disbanding, and the government's like, "No, they have to disband," and there's going to be a whole civil war over BTS.
They need to, they need to bring back Psy as the mediator.
Right,
if that's the case, they deserve to get conquered by North Korea. At least North Korea will put it into K-pop.
That was my favorite meme, was Kim Jong-un with the binoculars up on top of the hill.
He starves his own people. They're not going to do shit. But it's like, ugh.
Cider's here. Hey, Cider.
Hello, I've been the one talking a lot.
Yeah, a lot. Eddie was here. I think he just stepped away. We'll get back to Eddie later. Rob, how you doing today, Rob?
I'm fantastic. I'm so looking forward to the rest of the year because I haven't done any work in terms of movie reviews. So I have a lot to do this month. And I'm starting a new job and there's a lot going on, but I'm excited. Yeah.
Dude, I have like 5 written and video reviews to do. I felt like absolute crap all day. It's like I'm not doing anything for the next 48 hours.
So Juror number 2, the Clint Eastwood movie that I've been really looking forward to, apparently is out on VOD right now, so you can catch it there. It's coming to HBO Max on December 20th, so little more than 2 weeks away, but that's one I'm definitely looking forward to. I'm sure Nosferatu is just going to be blown out. You know what I mean? Like just thrown in our faces until it comes out in late December on Christmas Day. So we'll see. But other than that, there's not a whole lot I'm looking forward to. I gotta get a lot of reviews in.
Yeah, Juror number 2 is definitely better than Gladiator 2 Judgment Day.
Also joining us here tonight, our good buddy Theo. How you doing tonight, Theo?
I'm doing great. I got a haircut today. I got my beard trimmed up, looking good.
Literally could not tell.
I got it. Well, it's the details that matter, society. That's what keeps it looking good. I got a show coming up in December 19th in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I'm very excited about it. So I don't know what to do with this. But the 4B movement and K-pop have the same trajectory. Koreans copied one of our shitty ideas or our shitty music, and then they made it way worse, and then they exported it back to us, and we liked it. I don't know what to do with that information, but I'm sharing that with all of you.
It's a whole thing. Like, look, I like Korean movies and even like television shows. Are hit and miss. Let's be completely honest, but the whole K-pop music scene, it's just like I can do without all that entirely.
The history of anime will blow your mind, dude. They took a look at Disney and they were like, what if we put tentacles in it?
Damn it. Also making his barroom debut here tonight. I want to pronounce your name correctly because I am sick. Is it Arza? Fuck, I can't speak.
Arza.
Yeah. my brain's not working the way that it's supposed to right now. So
Don't worry,
ours
I
the
get-
chats. How's it doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I've yet to be in a show where someone got my name right, so it's a-okay. Usually they do Azra, and I've yet to figure out why. Yeah, I mean, I don't watch movies, so whatever movie you discuss, I haven't seen. I own a lot of movies, but as Theo can attest, I have seen none of them.
Oh,
Don't worry.
yeah, I'm with you there. You know, I'll buy something and it'll be like a year later and it's still wrapped in its plastic.
I have about 200 VHS tapes. I'm 22. Why the fuck do I have VHS tapes?
Autism.
It's cool, dude.
Hey, I got those. I can't think of it right now. It's the little tiny. My mind went blank. It's the little A-tracks. I got A-tracks and an A-track player. Okay, does anybody even know what the hell an A-track is?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Look at you.
I think they found those in a pit with the dinosaurs.
It's
Yeah,
a
I was
movie
there at the
reference
ET game.
for me, but
Also, Eddie's back. The man with the best hair in the entire world. How you doing today, Eddie?
Oh,
Did anyone know that Korea has the longest succession of slavery in the history of the world?
Based.
I know where you heard
1,500
that
years.
from.
Well, I do remember. Didn't they get the comfort women or no? The Japanese got Korean women to be their comfort women during World War II,
correct.
and
I could use
they've
some
yet to even
comfort
acknowledge it.
there's just so much fucking gross rape shit in World War II. I'm sorry. I just need to state that again for the record. It's just
Well,
like
Nanking.
awful going over that period of like Russians and Germans and Japanese to Chinese and just it's all terrible.
Well,
Wait till you hear about
Japanese
Genghis
got
Khan.
too.
Yeah, wait
Yeah,
till
I
you hear
know.
about. I was like, wait till you hear about Argentina.
15% of the world is related to that guy because of how rapey he was. Okay.
Hey! They wanted to eat, so they consented.
Okay, fair enough.
That
The
was
short
fucking
guy on the
freaking horn
horse.
dogs. He saw a woman, he
That's a
fucked her.
very interesting definition of
Man
consent.
was 5'1". Okay, that guy was
There's hope for me
5'1".
yet.
Right?
Character in
10,000
Bill and
years
Ted,
ago,
Excellent Adventure.
5'1" was like a giant.
Remember, he is in Asia, so that's still
He is the king
average
of midgets.
Imagine the world being ruled by someone who's the same height of Alexa Bliss.
Yeah,
That's
right?
really what happened.
It's like, no, he could reach the faucet handles. He'll be king.
Mm-hmm.
What's his
height.
name?
You guys think
They
of like a
gave it to-
designated step stool carrier?
Yeah, right.
Or as I like to call it, the Tom Cruise box.
Nobody
Oh.
wants Tywin Lannister as their king.
Be kind to Tom Cruise. He and I are the same height.
Yeah, that's sad.
I'm pretty sure Genghis Khan invented
Hey,
high
whoa, same
heels. Or
here.
stilts.
It's double sad. Yep, but we're here tonight. We're here on Rumble, YouTube, and on what's it, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it these days. We're here. I see Keith's over on our Rumble side. Shout out to Keith over there. Neozoic saying hey to everyone here in the chat, and he's going question for us. I mean, you're starting off with 40 movies right out of the gate. I'm sick as a dog. You want me to start talking about the 40s? He says, which Christmas movie would you rather watch? Me in St. Louis or The Shop Around the Corner?
So first of all, Meet Me in St. Louis is not a Christmas movie. It has a scene
has a
at
Christmas
Christmas
section.
time.
Yeah,
it has a Christmas
section.
scene. That's it. And don't get me wrong, I love that song. I think that's the definitive version of "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas." Fuck you, Frank Sinatra. It's because it's about lamenting that you might not see each other because it's World War II and you don't know when you're going to see that person again. And that's beautiful and it's haunting and it's sad.
Well, it's not
but
actually World War II. It is during the St. Louis Exposition of 1944.
So have fun.
Well, the film was made in 1944, but it's actually
but
set
again,
in
to the audience watching it, that's what mattered. That's what resonated emotionally.
And you
but yeah, I
know
would
that the
say
lyrics were
Shop Around-
changed.
Jesus fucking Christ. The Shop Around the Corner would probably be my pick. So that's now Rick can continue interrupting me.
Why does
It's what I
Rick,
do.
You gotta call it. You gotta call it the Metro. Fuck the trolley song. Clang clang with the trolley with this bitch.
That's
No,
hilarious.
the trolley song's actually pretty good.
They used that
and
in an episode of The Simpsons, by the way.
Yeah, you had it and you lost it. There we go. White
that's
Christmas
from the
lady,
50s.
54, I think.
Yeah, yes, it is 54 exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's
And,
the opposite guy.
Dreaming of a world.
and the original lyrics to Meet Me in St. Louis had to be changed because they were "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. It may be your last." And Judy Garland told the songwriter, "Hey, I can't sing that to Margaret O'Brien. They'll kill me." Because like, what do you mean it'll be your last? Are you suggesting that she might die? So they changed it. And I think James Taylor is the only one who's actually done the original lyrics, because it's not "Hang a shining star," hang a star on the highest bough, but it's "Until then we'll have to muddle through somehow." But it's not a real Christmas movie, and I've never seen the first version of Who's Got Mail, so I can't comment on how good that is. I
It's
mean,
very good.
I would probably go with something that you didn't list, which is Miracle on 34th Street, or as his generation's Robert Ebert called it, Miracle on 45th Street.
Well, here's a bonus question for you guys here. It says, if Santa could bring you any fictional weapon of any kind from any movie media, what would you take here? So give a couple of examples. It can be like the Green Lantern ring, a lightsaber, like some nonsense from Power Rangers. Like, what would you take here? And I was like, who wouldn't want to have an Infinity Gauntlet and create their own like Doctor Doom sex slave world, like what happened in the actual Marvel universe, right?
How sick
That's what you're
are
doing
you?
with an Infinity Gauntlet? Just right out of the gate?
First thing
Just
is,
day one.
Okay, fine. First,
Isn't that
I'll
what happened
do
in the
world
comics?
peace, whatever.
Are you going to try to grab some comfort women from Korea during the attempted revolution?
no, Jacob gets that all together. Thor's trying to stop, and he's like, "No bitches for you." Snap.
Mm-hmm.
Full harem mode, alien planet. They're doing the farming, not him.
Yep. And then a giant throne made out of crystal.
Okay. To go for
Bethesda inside of a cage.
here's for the Zoomer take. The correct answer is Ben 10's The Omnitrix.
Oh, shut the fuck up, you fetus.
You get to turn into any alien, and you're hot as all of them.
Okay.
I mean, I think we've learned something about ours just now. A little bit.
No, okay.
maybe,
In
but-
the Ben 10 show, whenever he turned into an alien, for some reason, another alien of that species was always crushing on him.
Do you think space is just really horny? Maybe is that what
Star Trek.
Ben 10 was
That's
trying to
what-
tell
yeah,
us?
that's
If
what
we leave this
Kirk
planet,
said.
we're gonna get fucked. Is that what Ben 10 was trying to tell us?
Well,
It happened to Grandpa.
I'd like to hear from someone who's not going to use their fantasy weapon to get pussy, please. Just
So,
somebody.
I probably
I was
just
thinking
use
the
a-
sonic screwdriver from Doctor Who, but that's just.
I would probably just go with Batman's grappling hook because I'm a nerd, and that's just from when I was a kid, like the coolest thing. Even though at the end of the day, you're all it's doing is like pulling you up on buildings, and I don't.
Wait, do you have the
any-
strength?
Like,
of
would I
a-
just
You know the
be a criminal?
Batmobile qualifies as a weapon, right?
No, I thought about the Batmobile too, but I was just like, yeah.
Are you talking about the grappling hook that they used, and then a guest star would pop out in a cameo on the TV
Yep.
show?
Yep, they would be climbing the building, and then the door would open, and then there would be Dean Martin, like, "Hey boys, could you stop for a drink?" And Batman would say, "No, we're on the job," and then Robin would say, "I'm underage,"
Ew.
Damn.
just like that.
That's a
Just
terrible,
like that.
terrible movie.
Yeah, I was thinking more
Oh, it's
Burton
the worst.
'89 Batman, but that's okay.
This is just the only one I have.
Fair enough.
Well, you're not a fan
I
of
mean,
bat
I'd do
nipples?
the Infinity Gauntlet, but I'd actually do shit that actually, honestly, I'd try to go benevolent, but I'd hate it when people wanted or pushed me to be malevolent, you know?
Mhm.
I mean,
Which
I'd
means that-
balance the fucking budget. I'd fucking do all sorts of shit.
I think
Orange
the
would
87
wipe
I
out
think
half of
the-
humanity over the first slight disagreement that you had with the
I think
nation.
I'd only wipe about
No,
13.
You're like, well, okay, this whole fucking non-binary system, snap, fuck all, done. There's
think
no
the
more
87
fucking
cut was
non-binary
from,
bullshit thoughts.
Notice that no one wants to use their weapon for good. It's only for like sex slaves and destruction.
I said nothing
I'm
about
not looking
slavery.
for
Hold on.
slavery. I'm not looking to kill. I said I would
Jacob
get rid
wants
of the thought
wants to have
process.
like a whole harem there.
It would literally erase the memories of anybody who even thought of non-binaryism.
Jacob's fantasy in this scenario is a 1978 heavy metal music video. Okay, that's what we're dealing with here.
with
I'm the guy that
Milton
wants
Berle
to-
and drag.
I'm
With
the guy
like
that wants
Motorhead
the
playing in the background.
I'm the guy that wants the infinity and probability drive, so when you press a button, you never know where you're going to end up. Now, that does mean you do have a high likelihood of getting laid when you arrive there, because look what happened to Captain Kirk. Apparently, humans are pretty doable in space. So I have to say, while it not being my primary goal, it's definitely a bonus.
Well, I mean, I could just go with the anti-life equation.
Of course you would.
Okay. Didn't they say that just turned people into, like, Apple consumers?
Mhm.
It wasn't that what it was? It didn't kill anybody. It just made him, like, do whatever Darkseid said because he's a spurg.
Exactly. I'd just be like, everybody,
Slaves.
stop being idiots.
We'll see,
There
that's
you go.
slavery again.
World
What is
fucking
wrong with you
solved.
people?
We're just like the Koreans. We always end up back at slavery.
Yeah.
No matter what
I'm
lane we take, we always
slave.
end up back at some floors.
Look, I like Rob's solution to this: a dislocated shoulder. That's the only thing he's looking forward to with this one, right? So
All I ask is for the sonic screwdriver from the doctor. I say that's.
Okay, why
that's
wouldn't
it.
you get the sonic gun that does the same
course
thing
there'd
as a
be a
screwdriver,
Doctor Who
but also
reference here.
deletes things?
Ooh, this
Well-
is so fucking nerdy. Jesus Christ, guys.
What's
I
the
know
first
it's what you
topic?
like, but my God, holy
Look,
shit.
in
20
the
minutes
in the David Tennant episode, "Are You My Mommy?" Captain Jack shows up with a sonic a
I
pistol.
thought he was asking the question.
I want to
that
erase
would be a question Captain Jack
I-
would ask, though. In all fairness,
Well, and
that would
Captain
be a
Jack
question he'd ask.
was an intergalactic space slut. So
yes,
so I
yes,
don't know
of
if
the
that's what I
highest
want.
order.
Yes, I don't want that. I would erase.
What the
Captain
fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck is this world? What have they done to us? What did they do to us?
No, Jacob, you'll love this. He had so much intergalactic sex, he collected so many STDs, it turned him into a floating head in a vat. Okay? He became the face of
Intergalactic
Bo
nymphomaniac.
because of all the STDs he contracted, okay?
Total
It's like where June
intergalactic
ends up.
nymphomaniac.
Just this giant, all-knowing blob
Yeah.
looking into the future.
Right?
Literally becomes
Giant
AIDS
all-knowing
incarnate.
cyst.
And that's why you should believe in monogamy. Otherwise, you end up as the face of Bo.
Hey, we don't know that whether or not Jack had these partners at the same time.
Well, it's time travel. You don't know that.
We
he could
do
have
have
been
other people
simul-
who are
Wibbly
here
wobbly
too,
timey wimey.
Ooh,
What's our
ooh,
first
that means
topic?
something different now.
Ah,
Leslie Tarkin is here. Spencer's here in the chat with us as well. Who else we got here?
Regrettably, right? Are you feeling the burn yet, Spencer?
Roguish
Sure, having a
nerd
great
here.
time.
Doba Fett, DK's here saying that the Daily Wire scores big with Matt Walsh's documentary. Now they want to get rid of their Zoomer representation. Yeah, we'll talk about that here in just a
Talk
second.
about the Daily Wire.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll talk about it here momentarily. Doba Fett here says Rick is here too early. Go away. Yes, I agree.
Doba Fett, remember it is my birthday, so that's why I'm here early.
Rick is the target audience for an early appearance. The objectively worse Georgia. I would have to agree there.
Well, they don't have a Tbilisi version of designing women, so
Leslie
that's
said
why.
that there was a lot of rape charges brought on U.S. troops during World War II. But I mean, hey, according to 2024 progressive logic, hey, if they were Nazis, then they deserved it, then, right? That would be
Well,
they were done in
now,
Vietnam.
actually, if you saw two women starring Sophia Loren, it was, I believe, the Algerian troops who raped her and her daughter in the church.
And
A
her
great
father.
performance, very sad.
I'm
Pretty
just
sad.
gonna turn off my camera.
Mm-hmm. No one cares about bitches. Oof.
It is on its like fourth reboot, so I mean,
No, I want to
okay,
correct
okay.
something that was said. Captain Kirk did not get any in Spock's brain. Thank you, Maurice.
Oh,
Spock's brain, the
Awesome,
Citizen
Leslie.
Kane of
Maybe
Star
they
Trek.
just left that scene out. Doesn't mean
No,
it didn't
no.
happen.
I mean, there were all of these beautiful women running around in their little skimpy outfits, and he never once hit on them. I mean, what? That was bizarre. That was more bizarre than.
You two shut up!
That was more
So
bizarre. than-
anyway, we're gonna go move on to our first topic of the night, and that is
half an hour in.
yeah, right.
right?
Brett Cooper is rumored to be leaving the Daily Wire, and there's a lot of shady things happening behind the scenes because it's Daily Wire. Why would we expect otherwise? But the rumor is that she's had a falling out with Jeremy Boring, who is the CEO of that company. And there's a lot of very, very questionable things that are being alleged here. Now, this is kind of the main source here. This guy posted a long form video. I'm just going to play a short version of it that relates to Brett.
Mustachioed, man.
Oh, yeah, right. But up to this point, really no one has come out and say, oh, no, that's complete hogwash. That's absolutely not true. So it seems like there may be some kind of truth to what's going on here. But let's play a little bit of this, figure out what the hell's going on with the Daily Wire.
If you can't tell, that's Jeremy Boring saying that his new talent can come in and be wage slaves for a little bit while they build their brand and they, earn their place. And it looks like Brett Cooper signed that exact kind of contract. And she has built her brand and earned her place with 4.5 million subscribers, loyal fans. But then when I talked to my source, it got real dark. Have you guys noticed that this producer Reagan girl has been doing fill-in shows for Brett every week lately? Well, if you're not familiar here, Reagan is like Brett's best friend. Apparently, she was her maid of honor at Brett's wedding recently. And I'm not sure why Brett wanted out and started to be unhappy there and why this whole thing started. My source wasn't really sure either. But once she crossed Jeremy Boring and Jeremy was pissed, he decided he would replace her with her best friend. And so he made a contract offer that Reagan apparently could not refuse, and he is now replacing Brett with Reagan slowly until the expiration of the current contract with Brett in December. Brett is in an NDA and she's not allowed to say anything about any of this at all. And it sounds like this is kind of widely known at the company at this point. So she is being forced to continue her show as though nothing is going on while they replace her with her best friend, and probably are going to manufacture some sort of like slander or like, I don't know, I'm just speculating, but they're probably going to manufacture some sort of logical reason why Brett pushed herself out and they had to fill in with Reagan. Apparently they even gave Reagan acting classes for her to emulate Brett's every movement and word. And when you watch a Reagan episode, it's kind of like, what? This is like very Brett.
Dude. Welcome back to the comment section. I'm producer Reagan filling in for Brett today. And this week, the media has rightfully been very focused on the murder trial of Laken Riley.
Turns out the likeness is not just because they're best friends. So you might be asking, and no, Snow White, not happening. That's canceled. But Jeremy is apparently intent on breaking into movies, and the Pendragon cycle is apparently like his pet project that he is devoted to. And when you dig into why that is, you start to realize what is wrong at the Daily Wire. And the answer seems to be Jeremy Boring himself. This Bloomberg article goes into Jeremy Boring's history, how he moved to Los Angeles from a small town in Texas in 2000, trying to make it in the movie industry. He even started a little production company with the dude from Avatar, but it flopped and everything failed, and eventually it, dissolved. And apparently for this Bloomberg article, they said that they had enough money to develop scripts for their 2 series here, but they weren't sure where the funds to actually shoot was going to come from because they need a lot of money for this, and they are pouring everything into it apparently. Producing full-on Hollywood-level movies and series is a whole different beast than producing podcasts, and they are way overextending themselves. We'll get to this Razor commercial in a second because it's crazy to watch. But like everything points to Jeremy. But like when Candace was fired, everything pointed to Jeremy's personality. When you actually look at this is an article written by Jeremy, self-proclaimed Daily Wire God King and co-host Jeremy Boring talks about getting out and doing something. This is a whole article about how wise he is and how much success he's had and how he has all these stories and what he would tell you to do to be successful. I have a speech that I give to typically young people who move to Hollywood because they want to make it in the movies. From the guy who moved to Hollywood and didn't make it in the movies. What I have observed, I have friends who star in these big superhero movies. I have friends who started businesses. I have friends who. It all amounts to what I have discovered is that the difference between those who do and those who don't do is that those who do, and those who don't do. Wow. That is such sage wisdom, bro. I have a different theory. I think there's 2 types of people in media in the world. Those who are dicks and those who are nice. And people who are dicks are all in it for themselves and their own aspirations and money. And people who are nice to work with. And people who are all in it for themselves can get pretty far in this world. But eventually, usually they build a house of cards that burns itself down.
I like how his forehead has its own mustache.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So this is basically the gist of everything, is that some fallout happened behind the scenes with Brett and the Daily Wire. No surprise there, just like Hollywood, and they try to make it seem like, oh no, we're totally different from those guys, but you got people signed to NDAs who can't, actually talk about what's really going on behind closed doors, especially if it makes you look bad. So she's probably getting squeezed out right now, and if that happens, that makes the second big name person who's got squeezed out of Candace Owens leaving earlier this year. There's rumors that there's probably going to be other big name people who leave as well. So you look at people like Matt Knowles, you look at people like, Matt Walsh. You wonder who's actually going to be left on what seemingly looks like a sinking ship at the Daily Wire, because no one really likes Jeremy Boring. I mean, I know all the heat from the Daily Wire goes to Ben Shapiro, but it really seems like he's the bigger problem at this entity right now than anyone else. And that's why everyone is abandoning ship at the moment. So, Orange, I'm going to start off with you just real quick. What is your take on Brett Cooper leaving? And I know you don't care about the Daily Wire, but what is your take on how they're operating things right now? They're supposed to be the alternative, but they're not really looking much like an alternative.
Their first mistake was claiming to basically be the number one speaking for all conservatives, because they honestly do not speak for all conservatives. They're a bunch of fucking egomaniacal jackasses. As for Brett Cooper leaving, you know what? I don't blame her, because, well, anybody who constantly has that much fucking ego, nobody wants to be around. I mean, depends on what your taste is for people. But we've all heard the stories. We've heard Steven Crowder and how he turned down the contract for Daily Wire. We've seen what happened with Candace Owens. I think she's a fucking egomaniac as well. I'm a conservative, and I don't give a flying fuck about the number one conservative outlet. Fuck all of them because of their fucking egos. They do nothing but actually insult conservatives all the time. As for their Snow White, nobody fucking asked for any sort of fucking live action Snow White. It's been done to death, for fuck's sake. And honestly, I don't care about Disney's. I don't care about the Daily Wires. Honestly, if the Daily Wire really wants to fucking make money, partner with Fandango at home, partner with Amazon for releasing your fucking videos and movies onto a digital platform. Also sell them in physical media as well. You might actually make a little bit more money. It might just cost you a little bit here and there. Because, yeah, you got some decent looking movies. But the problem is, it's required fucking subscription to even have access, and nobody fucking has time for that shit.
Yep. Rob,
I don't really know much to say except thank God you're getting away from that shit. There's way too much fucking ego there, Brett.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rob, I know you're also not a fan of the Daily Wire, so what's your take on this new news?
Yeah, I mean, I watched Ben Shapiro videos going back to, I think, before the Obama years, like 2005, 2006. So I've known about him for a long time, and I kind of just accepted him for what he was. These people are kind of continuing that neocon conservatism, obviously with a kind of Israel first perspective. We need to do everything we can to support them, even at the expense of United States taxpayers. But the whole Brett Cooper thing, look, she generates an audience for the Daily Wire. I've watched a couple of her videos. She's charismatic. She's she's light. She's upbeat. She has a good, delivery. I just think she's, again, I'm not going to watch those videos consistently. It's not for me, but I think she does a good job at least doing that type of content. And I think the Daily Wire is shooting themselves in the foot because she probably asked for more money, and rightfully so. And they didn't want to pay her. Jeremy Boring. I mean, this goes back to ROTC again, where it's what the guy from The Quartering and Jeremy Boring. So one's Jeremy Boring, the other's Boring Jeremy. So I just always like that as a little joke, but Jeremy Boring has been kind of a pain in the ass. I mean, with the whole Candace Owens thing, he kind of seems like an egotistical douchebag who is probably the least ideologically consistent. He least talks about the issues. He's sort of like sometimes on camera, but really behind the scenes running things at the administrative level. So whatever. I think that ultimately it's not going to be good for them. The movie thing just seems like a huge disaster. I said it from the start. I was like, until they make something worthwhile, I'm going to say it's going to be an abject failure. People who just willy-nilly decide to jump into film production usually doesn't end well. But here's the thing about Ben Shapiro. His mother is a TV movie producer, has been in Hollywood for years. His cousin is Mara Wilson, who was in a lot of different films, the 90s as a kid actor. Mrs. Doubtfire comes to mind. I think wasn't she Matilda?
Yes.
But so the idea that he's this staunch conservative, you know, it's like, no, this is a show. This is a company you built around, you know, kind of being, you know, your own sort of Fox News, and Glenn Beck has the Blaze, and, you know, you had, you know, Dennis Prager, who actually is having some medical issues right now, you know, be involved with that. So this is all about like conservative media trying to perpetuate this image, and people not really buying it. But again, I'm obviously a little more to the left, just viewing the Daily Wire and being critical of them. But yeah, it's not a fan of them, and they seem to be kind of making some pretty dire mistakes here with their young audience, because you need to grow your base to be successful over time. And if you're getting rid of the talent that's attracting younger viewers, that's probably not going to be good long term.
Yeah, it's probably going to bite them in the ass pretty hard.
Yeah.
Theo, I want to get your take on this one, and I want to go to our good buddy, our new buddy here, Chat's here. But yeah, I mean, to me, I just look at this whole situation where I think the facade of the Daily Wire has been completely exposed, and I like when we look back on like the 2016, like Ben Shapiro and Steven Crowder and all those faces of, you know, the right wing movement, especially on YouTube. I think pretty much every single one of them has fallen apart here over the last like 8 years, which is kind of funny now that Trump's back in office that they still don't have any credibility left. But yeah, I don't really know what more can happen here with these guys. What's kind of your take on this one?
No, it's crazy. So it seems pretty obvious to me that Jeremy Boring wants to make movies, and that his movies aren't very good. And like the only good movies Daily Wire has made were the Matt Walsh documentaries. What Is a Woman was a fucking banger, and Am I a Racist was the funniest movie I've seen in the last 10 years. I'm serious about that, because comedies suck now. To actually be laughing out loud in a movie theater was a crazy experience that I don't even remember the last time I did before that. So that was great. But Lady Ballers was fucking terrible. That cartoon they tried to do was fucking terrible. And I don't enjoy it. I was kind of looking forward to that Snow White thing. And there's the other thing, too. Of all the Daily Wire shows, the only one that I still watch with any regularity is probably it's Brett Cooper and Matt Walsh at this point. I will still watch clips from. I won't watch the whole show, but I'll watch clips. Brett Cooper is very good at her job. She's very good at her job. She is eminently watchable. She is pleasant. And forget about Gen Z outreach. The lonely single male comedian outreach was primo. Like, I fucking love that show. So the fact that she's I think they probably she wanted to get paid more and they weren't going to pay her. I think that's what happened. That's what it looks like to me, just like if I'm connecting the fewest dots. And the fact that this is not the first big fucking star that has left this network and said Jeremy Boring was the problem. And she hasn't done that yet, but it kind of looks like that's what's going to happen. This is not the first time, right?
Depending on how strong that NDA is, of course.
Yeah, I think that's probably the reason she's not saying anything now. And yeah, I think that in all likelihood, it seems like if a bunch of people all left at once keep leaving and keep saying that it's the same guy who's the problem, then I'm inclined to agree with them. Also, it was really weird how when Candace left, they had all the hosts go out and kind of like toe the company line and shit on Candace. That was weird. That was weird how they did that.
Yep. Yeah, and I'll say this real quick. There is one person I do like at the Daily Wire. His name's Michael Knowles. He's not as prominent, I guess, but he's very articulate. He's very good, I think, in debate and sparring and kind of going back and forth. But I disagree probably with 65 to 70% of the stuff he says. You know, he's a Catholic conservative. You know, and again, it's these things where you go to college and you kind of combat the teachers who are saying ignorant things and the, you know, crazy leftist people. But again, I'll point this out because I've watched these videos since I was 18. It's easy to undermine college students with their fucking stupid opinions. You know what I mean? Like anybody that knows what they're talking about in terms of debate and the details and terms of argument can easily navigate that. So while this has been a sort of fun, entertaining thing for the last 15, 20 years, it's gotten old. You know, it's kind of like transparent. And Steven Crowder kind of did an extension of it. Like, was it Change My Mind? So,
yeah. Yeah.
Well, also Ben Shapiro basically made much of his fame by doing the same damn thing. But my question is, is Gina Carano still functioning with the Daily Wire, or do they have her under contract or anything like that?
She's supposed to make movies with them, I thought. Did she make that cowboy movie with them? The cowboy movie was pretty good. I'll take that back. Their comedy sucked.
Yeah,
but
that
the
Old
cowboy
West
movie was
one.
pretty good.
Yeah, comedy from them is not good at all.
Comedy's hard. Only
Well,
smart,
it's just
good-looking
reverse
people can do it.
wokeism, which is in itself woke. So it's agenda over story.
I hate that.
Arza, what
I hate
is
that
your
shit.
take on this one? Do you know anything about politics, or you cover this one, or?
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty familiar. I don't necessarily cover politics. I cover politics as a symptom of media, but I am fairly familiar with politics. I have watched some Brett Cooper, though she's literally the only part of Daily Wire I've ever found even remotely worth watching. And I'm going to be clear, I'm a year younger than Brett Cooper. She's smoking to most people in my generation. She is definitely the link that Daily Wire needs to the youth, because that's the thing is none of these conservative groups are doing anything to appeal to Gen Z or Gen A people. Instead, they're focused on pushing us all the way out by, attacking anime, gaming, that everything that a lot of Gen Z people really like. By attacking it, you're just alienating everyone. And by getting rid of Brett Cooper, you're cutting off basically your foot to spite your nose, or whatever. It's cutting off your nose to spite your face, or whatever the hell the euphemism is. Because she might have had issues, but she was literally the only link to the Gen Z audience, and the fact that she's hot didn't hurt. And I looked at the new girl; she isn't Brett Cooper.
She dumpy looking.
Yeah, she looks weird. Respectfully, yes, respectfully. As for the movie thing, I thought Daily Wire going to movies was the most genius thing in the world until I saw how they were doing it. In my idea, I thought they were going to go out and make $10,000 rom-coms, because you can produce a lot of them. They don't have to be that good. You have to have one funny joke in an hour and a half long movie, and you make $1 million or whatever. You make a ton of $10,000 comedies. You send them to theaters, not put them on some rinky-dinky streaming service. You put them in theaters, so anybody who wants to go see them can pay however much it is to go to the theater and actually watch the movie. And you're constantly doing a churn, not making conservative content. You make classic content, the kind of stuff that would have been released frequently in the 80s, like Ryan Reynolds' The Proposal, or any of those rom-coms like that had a very small budget.
I think that you definitely have a good point there. Here's the thing: if the Daily Wire really wanted to, if they're going to produce a small amount of movies, right? There's a plan for three to four per year, right? It's hire people that are talented. Hire people that will get people to come to the theater, even on the Terrifier level, even on, what movies that came out this year, Strange Darling, where it's you have these small indies that only cost $2 to $5 million, basically, but there are talented visionary directors behind them, willing to take risks, I don't know if any of you saw Long Legs, and for whatever you thought of it, even if you thought it sucked, it took chances, it engaged an audience, it made a little bit of money there at the box office, but that's what they should be doing. Horror movies is really where you make your money from micro budgets or just smaller indie budgets. Now, you're right. You could absolutely do romantic comedies pretty cheaply. It's just that.
But we also don't have any rom-coms. That's the main issue.
That's
exactly.
Arza,
saturated.
And here's your point, Arza, is even better than you think it is. And I'm going to tell you why. Daily Wire's main thing is to try to change the culture. That's what they want to do. And their message is explicitly pro-marriage. One of the commenters brought it up. They could make romantic comedies that have a conservative message.
That's exactly what I'm
actually
thinking.
The
classical.
You know what I'm saying?
Lady Ballers cost $7 million to make.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Oh my God.
Yeah, making a cheap movie where men and women actually like each other. Oh my God!
You
what
could
would that
make
do for the
7 million
culture?
movie. You can make 7 movies like that for that budget of Lady Ballers instead of making Lady Ballers.
Look at the Sydney Sweeney, Glenn Powell movie. I still haven't seen it. Anyone But You, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
It made a shit ton of money, and it's not even a good movie. And I know some people here didn't like it, but Hitman, again, even if the story had issues, plot had issues, what's that movie about? It's about that hot girl whose name I don't know, and Glenn Powell just having chemistry and being into one another, and that's people miss that on a certain level where it's
yes,
I miss romance, I miss even though it's a neo-noir and they're both ultimately murderers.
My little sister complains about the lack of modern rom-coms on the daily.
Wow.
Well, it's not even that. You're talking about modern Hollywood, who just does not know anything about romance whatsoever. I mean,
Or
their
comedy.
whole that too, but mostly it's like, you know, they're trying to do all these like LGBTQ quote unquote rom coms, which is really just degeneracy, masquerading as
You didn't find
as a
Bros
romantic.
funny?
No, not at all. It wasn't even remotely. But because they they fundamentally don't understand like what romance is. That's what it comes down to. This is why Letterboxd banned my review of what was it, Queen and Slim, like 3 times, because I literally said like, this person has no idea how to write the mere concept of a romantic story. Period. Like, it shows in this movie.
Look, I'm gonna risk getting kicked off. I am a bisexual man, so I do think there is I do think there is a role in media for gay-based content, but the problem is you have to accept the fact that we make up 7% of the population, and therefore the movie should be made with that frequency and to that budget. If you made a movie for I don't know, $100,000 for a gay focus, you can make a rom-com with that budget for that focus, and you might make your money back. If you're spending even just almost $25 million on a movie, you're not going to make jack squat.
Well, yeah, that was what with Bros.
The screenwriter of Queen and Slim is Lena Waithe, if you know who that is.
Oh yeah. And we just found out that she's dating the ghoul-looking chick from the Wicked movie. So it's like everything makes sense now.
God damn.
Cynthia Erivo.
Yeah.
You need to know your. What do I always say? You need to know your target audience.
And ready? Queen was the lady that was in The Acolyte, the black lady from The Acolyte. So you're batting for 1,000 right now.
Yeah. Well, I really have no idea who Brett Cooper is. This is really first I've heard of her, but I think she was in that Snow White trailer, which none of us thought was actually going to be made. I thought they just created a trailer to troll the Rachel Zegler movie, so none of us actually believed it. As for their desire to make movies, yeah, anyone can make a movie now, and that Am I Racist was surprisingly very successful. I didn't think it was as good as most people thought it was, because I thought Matt Walsh made himself too much the focus of the movie, and he obviously thought he was funny. I didn't think he was funny, but yeah, they could go for that. They could go for that kind of mockumentary type, or even make these romantic comedies or horror films. No, Rob is right. Horror is pretty easy. Well, not easy, but cheap to make as compared to other genres. But I don't know why they would want to drive out someone who actually brings in audience, especially for the Gen Z crowd. Is it an ego thing by Jeremy Boring? I don't know. I don't know any of these people. I don't watch the Daily Wire. I'll see clips of Ben Shapiro, and I admire someone who's actually shorter than me and who can speak more than I can. So there's that. I'm not a big fan of Matt Walsh. I've seen some of Michael Knowles, and there's Andrew Clavin. So I've heard
good on
good
movies.
things.
I'll say
I've heard good things about him, not so much about his son Spencer.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan. I'm not a fan of Daily Wire. So I really have no dog in this hunt. But Daily Wire needs to do one of two things. Either they need to focus on building up their brand and getting in more people, to especially the younger crowd, to spread out their conservative message, or they should focus on making good movies. I don't think anyone saw Lady Ballers. I mean, if that was on their,
to watch it.
If that was on the Daily Wire Plus, no,
Broken
I don't know.
Key, Bent Key, something like that.
I don't think anyone's really going to go out and join Daily Wire Plus just to go see this movie. And from the trailer, it looked like one of those. Let's get all the people, all the talent, quote unquote, that we have, and let's just put them in a movie so we can mock something. You could have had a good movie mocking their ideas, but it didn't work.
The problem is that they made a movie kind of like this years ago called Joanna Man, which actually isn't bad. I remember watching it and kind of a guy, you know what I mean? I don't remember if it was a disgraced NBA player or something. He got kicked out of the league, and then he he's basically a woman, and I thought it was hilarious because it was just like, oh, a man playing in a woman's league. This is hilarious. Just as a as a kid, it was 10, 12, whatever. You don't take movies too seriously. It's about entertainment, right? And if and even has a contrived thing where he falls for like a woman basketball player and he has to reveal the fact that he's a man, all this stuff, But that's so much more successful than the piece of crap. Like, again, I didn't watch it, but everything I heard from people's opinions that I respect, it was like, this is cringeworthy garbage that you got, if you're going to make movies, you just can't do, especially when you're not Warner Brothers, when you're not Paramount and you can get away with it. You know what I mean? You have some kind of panache to run off of.
And that brings me to what I wanted to say about this, and it's very simple. CBS News does not make movies and TV, okay? Katie Couric, whoever's running CBS News now, is not out there producing these things. Now, Bent Key is not the Daily Wire. That is their production house for TV and movies. We get that. However, everybody who runs the Daily Wire also runs Bent Key. So that's like you're taking your, Gail what's-her-face there that runs the Good Morning America show or whatever and transposing that into CBS primetime programming. And that's the problem. You don't have people who are engaged in the creative process. You have people who are engaged in the cultural analysis process. And so everything they produce begins at its foundation of, we have a target, we have to isolate and fuck with. It has nothing to do with the creative process. The first idea in their head is, who do I want to piss off with this? And that's why it all sucks.
Right. In the same way that a lot of what are called Christian movies don't really work and are not particularly good because they are basically preaching to the choir, and the Daily Wire seems to be doing pretty much the same thing. So you really need quality filmmakers. It just can't be all about the message. That's why even the so-called woke films, something like a Bros, flops, because it's all about the message. It's not about the filmmaking. It's not about the story. It's about, we need to put this and present it to the audience, and we need to use our media to, quote, convert someone or bring them over, win them over to our cause. It's basically propaganda. Nobody buys it. And people just want to be entertained.
What's funny, Rick, is that movie, and I've always said this, I'll always say it, every movie is a propaganda piece. Okay, it's because it's every person's story that they're telling. It's a very specific narrative that's being told. It's not supposed to be objective. It's completely subjective. And so every movie is in a sense a piece of propaganda. It's just how much it is and how effective it is.
And how well it's made. I mean, how well it's made. You look at Casablanca, and that is an anti-fascist film. Right. But you know what? It's also a love story. It's also brilliantly acted, directed. It moves well. So yeah, you can see that it has a viewpoint, but we also get a good story with it.
I'll give you a great example. Rick. This is one that you guys will probably recognize. This Cary Grant's "I Was a War Bride." Now, if that was done today, that would be an entirely different story. It would not resemble the original story whatsoever. The romance would be completely lost. So that's what I just want to stress, is that what I'm getting at is that they produce things with the object of a political message first. The escapism, creativity, the art of it is completely tacked on just to get people to pay attention. That's it.
Well, I think another good example. I think another good example for media, especially something that the left would love to be able to make today. Are you any of you guys familiar with The Birdcage? Starring
Robin Williams, it's one of my favorite movies.
Yes,
it is the greatest movie I've ever seen. It's about a gay guy who's married to a drag queen, and they're dealing with conservatives trying to make it through the club, dealing with the hypocrisy of their perspective. That is a liberal's wet dream of a movie. And the fact of the matter is they couldn't make that today if they tried, because let's be honest, that movie was unbelievably fair to everyone in the film. It only makes fun of those on the extreme sides of things.
There are a lot of people on both sides, left and right, who love the Birdcage. It was actually a very funny film. I've never seen the original French version.
Who cares? Only the Robin Williams one matters.
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah, all right. Now I recognize it, because I was thinking, there's Robin Williams in it, and he's really gay. So
what is so funny, by the way, is number one, Gene Hackman's character reminds me so much of Joe Biden, where he's like, I don't understand, like has dementia. It's more,
Maybe that's where they got the inspiration for Joe Biden from.
It might be. But it's so funny because Albert, when it gets to it, like Albert, the drag queen, actually is pretty conservative, like believes in, no gay shouldn't be in the military, bringing what the Bible back into the public schools. And
even Nathan Lane is he opposes pride. He's against pride. So,
well, I listen, Bret Easton Ellis, one of my favorite film critic, favorite author, is a gay man who was like blacklisted by GLAAD because he basically said that all GLAAD wants is for these acceptable gay characteristics to be sold in society. The clean gay, this politically correct thing. And it's like, that's not real. That's not real at all. And for anybody that's an artist who goes along with that, you're kind of like, you're going along with this sort of weird propaganda, social brainwashing thing. So I've always respected him for sort of having a mind and opinion of his own and kind of saying pride. He wrote in American Psycho that it's like, basically that, Patrick Bateman is disgusted by this outward showing of, naked pride of like, why? What is wrong with you? It's one of the funniest chapters in the book. And he has frequently talked about it where it's just like, this is an overbearing embarrassment that we have to sort of defend, even though it's not anything I would ever.
Most of us aren't for it either.
Yeah, I want to get final thoughts on this one before we move on to our next topic. So is anyone barring Brett Cooper here?
Bye, Brett.
The last thought is they should get rid of Matt
Good
Walsh
luck, Brett.
because he has a bad take in hockey.
Yeah.
How in the world are conservatives possibly going to know how to write romantic comedies when everyone's sucking Destiny's cock?
Oh, come on. Fuentes has been a gay vet for over 5 years. And if you
I've been
didn't
sitting
know
here
that,
quiet this whole fucking time. I gotta say,
I had no idea who Destiny. You know what?
I'm glad I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't know who Destiny was, and I thought Destiny was a woman, and I really don't want to.
I mean, he basically is a woman. So I mean,
Destiny is the person that praises, or Destiny praised the July 13th event against Trump. Continues to do it to this day, and also will not apologize for saying he was glad that the other person died that day. Yeah,
these people are performative idiots, though. You know what I mean? They do the shit for attention. But
I just want to say that on the topic, real quick. Nick Fuentes put out a video where he said, "I watched the video. That's not me," and it's like.
You had to watch the video?
No, it's you.
Yeah, he does a forensic breakdown where he's like, this guy's got a bracelet. I don't like bracelets. He doesn't have the hitchhiker thumb. So it's obviously not. I'm like,
actually,
Nick, you didn't know? You had to be like, was this the one time that I recorded Destiny going down? He was like, what the hell?
Everything is
we know we know you were gay typing to Eli the whole fucking time. Yeah. Oh my God, you have no idea who's sucking my cock right now.
He's doing like a minute by minute breakdown of the video. He's like addressing all the scenery, and he's like, everybody wants me to post pictures of my penis now to prove that it's not my penis in the video. I'm like, nobody anywhere wants that, Nick.
Why wouldn't you just say yes? Yes, it's me. Why wouldn't you just accept it? I had Destiny sucking my cock. I mean, come on. Yeah. He's a leftist weenie that nobody wants to listen to that says G6 people
get that dead. Scene from
I got him going like this, up and down. Why shouldn't he say something like that? That's a good thing to say.
No, I'm not gay, but this guy sucks really good dick.
Right! You should be high-fiving this motherfucker. You should be giving him likes and subscribing to this guy.
Moving on to an even gayer conversation.
I just want to say I should have slept with a lot more alt-right influencers. I should have laid down with Lauren Southern when I had the chance.
God damn.
Instead, I was having sex with real MAGA groupies. So I guess I'm a person of the people. So I guess I can go with that. Good job for me. High five, Brett Cooper. You are like one of my columns, by the way. I love you. You're really cute.
This story, I'm probably gonna go full orange hat here on this story here.
Oh.
Blackish actress, was named Jenifer Lewis, went on Stephen A. Smith show talking about the results of the election. It's been about a month now. Trump's been reelected, and there's still people, particularly in Hollywood, who still cannot handle the fact that Trump's gonna be president again. And this, there's a lot of words going through my mind right now. This woman went on Stephen A. Smith show and made some very, very interesting comments, especially on the topic of, there was a lot of, Black and Hispanic men who went out and voted for Trump. How do you feel about that? And this was her genuine answer.
Let me ask you this. What about what they've said in terms of particularly Black men and Latinos supported him more than they have in the past? Why do you think that is, and what do you have to say to Black men and Latinos who were not in favor of supporting Kamala Harris?
Oh, honey. Oh, honey. When your favorite niece and your 13-year-old daughter is raped by your alcoholic brother or the next door neighbor, and she tries to abort that baby inside of her from a rape, you're going to regret that. They want to keep women in their place. It's so disgusting. I can't even put words to them voting for her. They didn't vote for her, didn't vote because she was a woman. They didn't care that she was smart and powerful, educated, beautiful, kind, joyful, drunk, fearless.
This woman's a good actress, but she's
would
full
have
of
taken
shit.
care of
So
this
full of shit
country.
here.
She would have protected the people. She would have surrounded herself with great minds.
This woman shoved too many coke-induced dildos up her neck.
That is one hell of a monologue. People will be reenacting that to get on Broadway for years to come.
You know what it sounded like was
Joyful.
the Michelle Obama, like, what was it? The Woman King. I forget her name. Olivia.
Oh yeah.
But just like telling Barack that they call him the N-word. Her nostrils flaring when she says it. It's just like hysterical melodrama.
I'm sure Big Mike and other things flaring at the same time.
I'm not a fan of the guy. I'm not a fan of the kid from the Boondocks having a trans.
He's got cutting off there.
But keeping women in their place was more important to them. And Black men, that was just shocking because, honey, he's going to give the military and the police permission to shoot you in your back, and there will be no immunity. So, baby, y'all done fucked up.
Just waiting
You
for the
took
word.
every right from your children. Once again, there will be no social security and pensions and rights. This thing has said you will never have to vote again. He's going to be in charge of the military. We have fucked up. End of story.
You don't think it was a simple situation of looking at the economy, looking at inflation, looking at crime and saying, providing and protect. And as men, that's what we want. And as a result of that, I mean, I voted for her. I wasn't voting for him. But speaking to men who felt different.
What? I don't think you really agree with what you have to say.
Differently.
That's a lie.
They didn't think about
Stephen
Roe
voted
v.
Trump,
Wade.
you
They
know
didn't think about stuff. They thought
He
about
didn't even look at the camera when he said that.
the economy, money in their pockets, and safety in the streets.
Listen,
It couldn't have been as simple as that.
First of all, do you see women breaking in people's houses?
Yes.
Do you see
One ate a
women
cat.
shooting each other in the streets?
One killed her father.
You're muted, Jacob.
Black women.
Say
especially.
one just got convicted for eating a cat in Ohio. Remember when they were telling you that didn't happen?
Yeah, it didn't happen. Yeah, they got convicted of it.
Those damn Haitians.
They voted because they have
voodoo.
They voted for
Voodoo.
Trump because, I hate saying his name. They voted for him because they hate themselves.
I hate your
And they
existence.
see this
because they
thing
hate
as
you.
powerful. That he's going to move mountains for them and make them rich. And unfortunately, Black men, They want a man. They were saying, I'm voting for the man. Well, we're going to see about that. And don't think we're all not at fault. All of us. We went to our jobs, we came home and sat on the sofa and watched movies of destruction. She's reading a script. She's reading a script.
Just stop it.
I'm just gonna interject right here.
And I'm gonna answer.
Like I said, I don't do this often, but on this particular topic here, especially with everything that's gone on in the last couple of weeks, I need to say this, so forgive me. But for anyone who holds this idea that, oh, if you vote for Republican, you're black, you must hate yourself. Go fuck yourself. Whoever it is, I do not care.
Friend.
Go fuck yourself.
Can I
am
parrot
so
that to the
sick.
gay perspective?
If you want to. But no, I'm so sick to death of these. We're just here for these arrogant pieces of trash sitting over here acting like they have any kind of moral high ground on any situation whatsoever. You are a dirtbag of a human being, and you have no right whatsoever to sit there and lecture anyone on morality, you piece of garbage. I am just so sick. I think I scared Eddie away, but I'm just so sick of these people who try to play these racial politics. And yes, they're primarily black women. I just hate to break that out to you, but it's a trend that people notice here. I'm so sick to death of these gatekeepers trying to keep people like in line. It's like, look, you want to know who's destroyed the black community over the last 60 years? I think you could look at black women as the main reason of why we're in the situation that we're in right now. Who is it has been basically sleeping with any single man that comes around here, and it has like a collection of bastard kids that go around, have no father figure in their life whatsoever, and they go around committing all of these crimes, increasing the violence in their communities, which are mostly black. I don't know where this whole concept came from that you can't go to a white community because you don't feel safe. You got to be in a black community to feel safe. That's where all the murders are. That's where all the crime is. It's like, do you understand how brainwashed you have to be to have that kind of mindset when it comes to stuff like this? And I'm just so sick and tired of listening to women like her. Keep in mind, she's on a show called Blackish. If you guys remember, I think we covered this maybe a couple of years ago. The season finale of that show was essentially Anthony Anderson and his family, who the entire time lived in like some rich neighborhood in LA, deciding that they had to move to Georgia because they were no longer comfortable living among white people. And that was quite literally the finale of that show. So these are the people who are always love to cry racism, and in their mind they justify racism because, well, white people hate us. It's like, no, you're just a racist piece of garbage. That's all that it is. And you're quite literally making everyone's lives around you, both black and white, worse as a result of this.
If it's any comfort, Jacob, my commie friend who constantly tells me that you vote against your own interests is white.
Yeah, I would tell her to go fuck herself too.
Yeah, he probably does because no interest. But
this is as someone who did not vote for Trump or Harris, I should say that I am worried because all my tios and tias will obviously be deported, regardless of their citizenship status. And I have my bag ready. I have my bag ready to when I get my deportation orders.
Do you guys have like an advent calendar of deportation? Like you pop open as a taco behind each day?
Yes.
I figured it was more like
Well, no, actually, Cider, I have to correct you. It's tamales.
A churro?
We are in Christmas. It's tamales right now.
Tamales. Okay, thank you.
We are in the Christmas season.
Delicious.
Okay, my apologies.
So every day until January 20th, we open one, and then we get closer to when
you open one and one
you're being deported, right?
You open one,
the deportation.
And just for the record, Rob is going to join me in the deportation because he has admitted to being quarter Mexican. So we need total purity. We need to keep.
So he only goes over the border for like half the year, and then they send him back the other.
Yes, like Persephone.
Quarter Mexican Rob, quarter black Garrett.
Just spring in Mexico and comes back.
I know it's a joke, but like my grandparent that literally is like my Mexican lineage is like a white bread Nebraskan woman who's, happens to be like 100% Mestizo Indian Mexican, but she like completely denounced any relationship she had. I am literally such a white, yes, I am a quarter Mestizo Mexican Indian, but I'm literally a white bread mutt of. I mean, I'm more Irish and German than anything, but yeah, let's do that. I remember in my early days, I definitely shit on America.
The Searchers.
All right. Well, I'll keep a spare room
Yeah,
for
there
you.
you
You can bunk up with me, cousin.
Also, Sadie, I know exactly why these people think that white neighborhoods are so dangerous for black people. It's because that's where all the black people are committing crime.
Oh my god!
So, has anybody thought of a Get Out movie? But it's the opposite. Like, it's just a black person living in the inner city, and it's like I'm surrounded by violent fucking assholes. Like, I got to get the fuck out of here. I mean, I guess was it Blind Spotting was kind of like that, but that was a terrible movie. So I just, I want to see that movie, Get Out, and just be a black guy and his family move into like a white suburb and
getting
being like,
out of the.
Oh my god, is this what life is like for normal people?
Do you remember The Riches? The one where the gypsy family took over?
Yeah, Eddie Izzard, who's turned into a woman, was in it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So like it's that show, but they're not criminals. They're just a family that just moves into a suburban neighborhood with a bunch of weird neighbors and shenanigans ensue.
I don't know. I kind of get the sense
that the Koreans ruined a great show like that.
Well, the Koreans are too busy trying to overthrow their government.
They murdered Oscar for that movie.
That's 5 generations. That's 5 generations of Koreans that have lived under a coup, by the way. So I have 5 generations of Koreans that have lived under a coup.
I don't know. I get the sense that maybe George Jefferson from the Jeffersons would have probably have voted for Trump because he was quite a, he was a businessman and he was not big. He was not fond of interracial marriage, even though his grandchild was like a quarter white. I don't know who this woman is. I've never seen Blackish. I'm just.
I gotta ask Jacob a question on this.
Can we address for a second
You're
the
muted,
emotional
Jacob.
blackmail around the issue of abortion? Because this shit drives me up a fucking wall. It's first of all, your precious Biden administration is in power right now. If they wanted, they've had plenty of time to pass some kind of federal protections for abortion rights.
Codify
They've declined to do so. I don't know why you think Kamala Harris would take away the Democrats' best campaign issue, which is to say scaring single women into voting based on this one issue.
Because women are single voters.
Like, I don't know why they would get rid of the threat, because they can leverage it.
It's because their MAGA husbands forced them to vote for Trump.
Right. I don't know why, but I feel like that guy with the man bun just made sense.
Also,
by the way,
I just got one more point on this abortion thing, and then I'm done. But this pisses me off. So the example they always go to is some example of like abuse or rape or incest or something, which is a vanishingly small percentage of abortion. 40% of abortions go to repeat customers. Some of these bitches have punch cards. That's who's the law is for. Like, this is like, it's a vanishingly small percentage that are actually abuse related. Most of it is responsible of this irresponsible, decadent, hedonistic, degenerate culture that we've constructed, where we have zero standards at all for human fucking behavior. That's what this is a result of.
What group of women get the most abortions? Seriously, you know what I mean?
You know what? That's not my.
White women are coming in close.
Not my area.
White women are coming in close.
It used to be the ideal was safe, legal, and rare. They're kind of skipping over the rare part.
Now it's just like, just let us give our sacrifices to Molech already. Like,
right.
Stop. That's really what it comes down to.
Well,
and real quick, I want to answer this question because Rick asked her earlier, who's Jenifer Lewis? Jenifer Lewis, Gary Owens, if you guys know him, a comedian, put a very, very great term on it. She's what we like to call black famous. So it's like outside of black people, no one really knows like who she is. But I mean, she's been in like tons of like black shows, from like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She's been on what was it? I think it was like there was a show. God, I'm blanking on the name of the show now. It was like it just came out not too long ago. But no, she's been in like
Boondocks is intentional.
Yeah, Blackish, Moesha, Jamie Foxx show, and then I want to say Different World was another show she was on as well. So.
I remember Different Strokes.
Yeah, Different World was a completely different show during that time period.
She has that like speaking quality where she could almost play like a like, you know what I mean, like a female minister or something, where she orates like she has that all. I call it the Martin Luther King Jr. Cadence.
She talks like she's autistic.
And I will tell you something about the Lord as we sit here tonight.
You
So
sound a
she's
bit
like
like
yesterday for
Jennifer
Rosa Parks.
Hudson in Dreamgirls, and
Little
I'm
bit.
telling you,
But
I'm
that
not
works for
going.
this group. That works because
that's good cider has soul.
Yeah.
Some people like having, people who talk like that and just like BS you the entire time. My perfect allegory to this is probably a lot of black churches. You go there and the pastor's jumping up and down. He's doing a whole bunch of I, me, my, and hollering and saying a bunch of things. And everyone in the congregation is all jumping up and down and going, hallelujah. Like, he's not even actually saying anything. He's just saying a bunch of nonsense.
Gump's in the corner.
Because it's playing up to the I, me, my people. They thinking that they're actually experiencing something when you're absolutely not. Like, that's what
All
it
that
is.
is,
Like,
and this is how I honestly see it. The whole like where the preacher's telling the people something, and they're like, "Oh, that's right. Yes, praise, amen." It's just like it's a very small conspiracy theory sect who's just like, "Oh, they're killing our boys in the streets." Oh, yep, they are, and it's just like, okay, do you guys not live in fucking reality? Like, there's a reason why the police are always in your neighborhood, okay? And it's like I'm not gonna go on a diatribe here, but it's like these problems have persisted since the 1960s. And yes, there was definitely, racism, whatever. People were discriminated against, absolutely. But like, you got to get your shit together. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to sound like Derek Vineyard from American History X, but slaves were freed 160 years ago. So please get your fucking shit together.
The curb.
Rob, they're all gentle giants.
But no, so real quick, I can answer this on two fronts. Because one, I'm here in Georgia, obviously, right? So one of the most hilarious things about being in Georgia is that once you go about, let's say, 20 minutes north of downtown Atlanta, anything inside of the perimeter is basically like Chocolate City, right? Like, it's like 95% black people. It's like it's more black people in Atlanta than you probably ever seen in your entire life. That's the reality of the whole situation. When you go about 25 minutes like north of that, obviously you get a lot more white people, a lot of Indian people too, for weird reason. That's a whole topic for another day. But and then the mindset from the people down south, or like in that. Yeah, right. But no, the mindset from the people who are in like inside the perimeter, places like College Park and like, West End and all these like verifiably not great neighborhoods, they're afraid to go to quote unquote white neighborhoods, or some of them even still refer to them as sundown neighborhoods, right? Because it's like, oh, you can't be black and go there like sundown. Like, first of all, none of that's true whatsoever. Second of all, you're sitting there acting like, oh my god, it's so dangerous for me to go to these white neighborhoods. It's like, you guys, the neighborhoods that you guys are quite literally leading the entire state in violent crimes, right? It's like the mindset of someone who doesn't want to go to Nashville because it's too white, but then he's going to live in Memphis, where it's top 5 most dangerous cities like in the entire world. It's like, are you not going to put two and two together? Like, you're talking about, oh, the cops are just going to gun you down on your back. It's like, let's be honest here. Where's that more likely to happen? What neighborhoods or is that more likely to happen here?
Jacob,
I know you made the comment on American History X. You guys remember the movie Boys in the Hood? Yep. Remember that movie? It was like Ice Cube and like that. So there's one scene that's very, very infamous here, right? And it's with Lawrence Fishburne, and he's talking about the fact that he's one of those guys who wants to keep the value and to the community, like whatnot, right? Because he's saying that, oh well, look at all these places around here. They got gun stores and liquor stores all around here because they want us to kill each other, right? That's literally like verbatim the line from the movie. I think to myself, guys, there's like gun stores and liquor stores in white neighborhoods too. They're not killing each other at the same rate that the black neighborhoods are. So what is the problem here? And no one wants to be honest about what the problem here is. So the answer always comes back to be racism. And then that's it. So until people wake up and get out of this mindset that they're living in this 24-hour race war between blacks and whites, which, let's be honest, a lot of these people will never, ever get out of that mindset whatsoever. That's just the sad reality of what's going to happen to our world moving forward. But who knows? Maybe with this last election, more people are finally starting to break that cycle, and I can only hope that they are. But the old guard, I should say, they're probably going to die in their ways, and that's a sad reality for a lot of those people.
What Ms. Lewis doesn't really address is why the vote for Trump was higher with black men and with Hispanic men. I was not one of them, but I'm just curious as to why. I mean, she thinks it's because black men are suddenly hate black women or Hispanic men hate women. I've heard all these ideas that Hispanic men didn't vote for Kamala because she's a woman and she's a minority. No, that's not true. It has nothing to do with that. I mean, Mexico just elected a female president, so it's not that.
Jewish female president.
What?
A Jewish female president.
A Jewish. That's
I'm
right.
about to say, didn't Italy just elect like a female prime minister not too long ago
They
too?
just got rid of that Korean one.
Yeah, my Italian cousin.
Yeah. And of course, there's always my beloved Maggie. So I just wondered why they think this way.
Maggie Thatcher?
Why? Yes,
because they're just committed to keeping people divided. That's really just what it is.
Victimhood
Yeah.
is currency. They're also malignantly narcissistic. Like, you got to
Yes.
understand, these people cannot imagine an issue that doesn't affect them directly. So if something bad
God.
happens, it must have been a personal attack because it made her have bad feelings. They can't think outside of the framework of how is this about me. They don't have the ability.
And honestly, those are the worst people in the world. The ones that can't for 1 second put aside, be like, hey, look, not everything is about you. Those people that if you guys, I know some of you wrestling fans are here. If you guys remember the whole thing with like Bret Hart and Undertaker back in the day, where Undertaker got pissed off at Bret Hart because he didn't want to do the job, he basically stood up and said, "Motherfucker, not everything's about you." It's a hilarious story.
What bothers me is this notion that Black men or Hispanic men somehow owe their vote to whatever the Democratic candidate
Minorities,
is.
basically.
Yes. I mean,
plantation voters.
They're perfectly. I think minorities are perfectly free to vote for whomever they want. I'm not going to vote for someone.
How dare you be so racist?
Listen, men, just men in general who aren't, gay or take it up the ass. No offense, buddy. Look, they don't like being told what to do. You know what? I'll even go a step further. I love being told what to do in the bedroom. Outside of it, no way. I don't want to
imagine that, Rob.
Pause. Know that, bro.
We should have invited Destiny on the stream.
Point is, men don't like to be told how to vote or what to do. There you go.
Some of them want to.
It should be the barroom confession.
You just gotta find the right woman, okay, guys? That's all I'm gonna say.
We've heard a lot of truth tonight.
Look,
a lot
Brett
of truth.
Cooper, I mean,
A lot of real truth. The realest truth.
Oh my god!
But by the way, no, Maurice, it was Taker and Brett because Nash was involved, so it was going back to their match at 12. I don't know. That's wrestling knowledge for nerds, but still.
This is the strangest thing about this election for me is that the strongest Trump supporters that I know are Black, Hispanic, or gay, or even a combination thereof. I cannot understand this. I can't understand it. With the possible exception of Orange Hat and maybe Cider, I don't know all of these straight, white, Christian Trump supporters. I
ain't Christian.
Well, I'll tell you.
I don't know them. I don't know them.
The reason why is because as a white guy who's straight and conservative and Christian, you stand about an 85 to 90% chance of getting canceled, shouted down, or bitched at for an eternity for admitting to any of that in public. And that's why you don't know them. The Black guys and Hispanic come out with their N-words for Trump, spigs for Trump, all that. They walk around with all that. Their Mexican flags with MAGA on it. They walk around with their Africa flags with MAGA on it, all that stuff. They could do that. Everyone's like, wow, we've got them on our side now.
And
but
the gays
not me. I can't do that. No. People are going to yell at me forever.
I've always said that Cider dresses like an honorary cholo. So, I mean, you probably...
Right, yeah, I know. I totally see Cider representing him.
I will say this. Think about this.
B2000.
He's like, what's his name? He's like, what's his name? The white guy from Blood In, Blood Out.
I remember him. That was a pretty good movie, but not reflective of my life. I'm too waspy. Think about it.
That's my life.
Trump managed to flip Hispanic dominant counties along the border, except for El Paso County. El Paso, my hometown, is stubbornly blue. But even Trump's vote here went up to 40%. So she needs to understand that it's not that Hispanics or Black men worship Trump or they hate Black women or Kamala Harris, her generation's Margaret Thatcher, Golda Meir, and Indira Gandhi. They just don't like the way the country has been run, and they don't think that it would have improved with her. They remember that the Trump years were better for them than the Biden years, and then possibly 4 to 8 years of Kamala. It is an economic. It was an economic decision. It was not that they hate Kamala or they hate women or whatever. It's they were voting their pocketbooks, and if she doesn't understand that, her side is going to keep losing.
If I may.
Well, the way the exit polls and things like that went is that men and women split almost straight down the middle. On how
final thoughts on this story, real quick, before we jump over. I let Orange go.
Rick, I wanted to let you know that the reason why is because Sider, not only being a straight white Christian male that respects Donald Trump and everything, he also lives in Maine where the Ents live. So him and the tree is going to make America great again from there.
Well, Maine, I always expected Sider to be that lone or random Maine electoral vote.
I am the lone person in Maine. There is no one else here.
Yeah.
See, my only issue is how come that all these other minority groups get cool swag? You got like cool catchphrases for black people for Trump and for Mexicans for Trump. What do gays for Trump get? What are we going to do? Walk around with a mega colored dildo? I don't think you guys will accept that much.
No, I've seen the gays for Trump. There are quite a few. There
were rainbow MAGA flags at the convention.
Yeah, like Nick Fuentes.
He was never, by the way. It's kind of funny that anybody says
Nick Fuentes isn't for
gay
Trump
people or whatever, because it's like
it depends on
he
what
hasn't
day of
said
the week
anything along those lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah, where is my attack? I want to be attacked. Make me that victim.
Well, it's because you're using your straight side privilege, your straight male white privilege.
Here's your attack.
I want you to do me a favor. Remove this cracker from my show.
Anthony, go down.
It's my straight passing privilege. That's what it is. That's the Marxist term.
Yes.
Well,
yes. I've been accused of that myself.
Well. Oh yeah, Orange, you never went, so make it quick.
Gotta get interrupted.
Yeah, get in there,
but
buddy.
Anyway, first off, this bitch is fucking crazy. Secondly, I'm gonna get a little bit personal here because, well, this is a fucking race issue because this bitch is racist. If there's anybody in this fucking panel that has, well, if I was shallow like this bitch, I would have every fucking reason to hate black people. Because one, I've been threatened by black people simply for having a fucking Bo Jackson jersey on.
Oh, geez.
Two, I've gotten beat downs simply for being white. Physically beaten on. And freaking
Orange, are you basically Eminem? Is that what's happening here?
No. But the thing is, I don't fucking hate black people. Or all of them simply because this shit happens to me. I hate the choices that those individuals made. But when this woman says all these people should be ashamed of themselves or that they're going to regret their decisions simply because they chose to vote with their conscience or their pocketbook, you are a fucking shallow cunt.
Boom.
Because really, you don't know what it's fucking like. You have all that fucking money. You have celebrity status. How the fuck are you even gonna feel that in your pocketbook when you have enough money to fucking go to the store, freaking buy eggs that are $8 a fucking dozen, when you have enough money to fill up your fucking car, and then you have to fucking sometimes decide, or have you ever had to fucking decide whether or not to eat or be able to afford to go to the fucking store because your car needs gas? Who the fuck do you think you are speaking for people who aren't as well off as you are? That's your biggest fucking problem. The second problem is you obviously are not educated enough, and it has nothing to do with your fucking race, but you obviously are not educated enough into understanding how economics works or how people or human nature is. People want to be able to live comfortably. If they are seeing that this way is not the way to fucking go, and they voted for this shit, they are obviously going to regret voting for the fucking asshole who put this fucking country in its state that it's in currently. So we had a very unique opportunity in this election. We got to see two previous administrations. The one that came before this current one that is shit, And this one currently, that is shit. Everybody got to see that their lives were better under the last administration. So they want that back. And guess what? All you celebrities who are saying, oh, he's going to kill people, he's going to have the military shoot him in the back and all that shit. What the fuck are you even talking about? If you paid or if you fucking paid attention to half of the shit that's been freaking pointed out, you would be wish people would fucking do live fact check. I mean, if Stephen A. Smith had a shred of integrity, he would have been like, ma'am, if you are, I'm sorry, I am going to stop you there. The stuff that has been promised under Trump and what's happened in the past all point to you're full of shit. Because first off, Tom Holman, the border czar that they're talking about, he doesn't want to go after just the regular people who are here undocumented. No, he's going after the fucking criminals first. That was said numerous times, pointed out numerous times. But your dumb racist ass doesn't want to listen to anybody who has a different skin color than you. Those are my fucking thoughts on this. She's a fucking idiot, and nobody honestly should listen to a fucking word she says.
You know what? Based on that rant right there, I don't think that there's any better way to transition into talking about a Disney movie than that right there. Movie time.
You know you're in bad shape. Straight now.
What, you've gone straight, Arza?
Yeah, no, that cured me. That cured me. Thank you.
You know you're in bad shape when you have to go to Target and get an electrolyte solution because you're sick as a dog. But look, this probably is going to be the shortest segment here of the show because there really isn't much to talk about with this movie. Moana 2 is a complete and utter cash grab where literally nothing really happens throughout the course of the movie. So here's the thing. This is a film that came out in 2016. It was a moderate box office success. I think it was like the budget was like $150 and made about $600 million worldwide. They've waited 8 years now to come out with the second part of this. The second part of this whole series here. And not only are they doing a part 2, but they're also doing a live action remake of the first one that just came out a couple of years ago. So Disney has all of their eggs set on this Moana basket. They think that this is going to be their golden goose. And like I said, I was there last week. The film definitely has drawn a lot with audiences so far, but the movie itself is just not that very good. Like, there's really nothing else to talk about here. I mean, the whole concept is that, Moana is now like the chosen one of the humans, and she has to go and find some island that's somewhere on the bottom of the ocean and raise it up with the help of the Rock's character, who only really shows up like an hour into the movie, so he's not even in the movie that much. And then at some point, Nicole was it Cigarettes, that sweet, whatever, that chick, the pussy dog chick, she shows up and she's like a flying bat woman or something like that. But you find out she's stuck in an island, and that's really just it. And then the whole thing is basically about like Moana's tribal family. Like that's really just what it comes down to. And her little sister and all these other nameless, faceless characters that you don't really know much of and don't really care much about. Like I said, I sat there with a pen and a pad trying to figure out things to write about, and I couldn't find much of anything whatsoever. So, Rick and Rob, I'll start with you just here real quick. Is there anything of note that you have about this movie? Because, like I said, I just found this to be a complete utter cash grab.
The little sister was appropriately cute and appealing to the little kids who were watching this movie. Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate this movie. It was fine. It doubled down on the things that they thought people would like the coconut pirates. Yeah, I mean, they were fine in the first part, but I guess they decided to make them a bigger part of the second movie. You had the same problems. I mean, you had the same virtues and the same problems as the first Moana, although I like the first Moana better. For example, you had the kind of too much you had some contemporary references that will date the film. The songs were fine. The animation, some of it was quite pretty, I thought, but I mean, it's fine for kids, because we have to remember the target audience. It's small kids who like the first one. I think their parents will like it. I mean, their parents will tolerate it, and the kids will probably like it. I don't like the fact that they're set up a Moana 3. And there's something that we also need to remember. This was not meant to be a movie. I think this was meant as a Disney Plus series that kind of cobbled together.
This feels like a Disney Plus movie, if I'm being completely honest with myself.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was cobbled as a TV show. I think it was supposed to be a TV series, that it was just transformed into a movie. And I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine. I mean, looking around me, there were kids who were enjoying it, although the little girl that was sitting near me did ask her dad, "Is it almost over?" So
endorsements.
I think Disney is really running on fumes right now, whether it's Marvel, whether it's their animated cartoon movies for children and families. I mean, that Lion King prequel just looks terrible. This didn't sound. Listen, I'm glad I didn't see Moana 2, so I'm not going to be able to add too much here. But I'm incredibly unfair to family and animated and children's movies. I just am. So I wasn't going to give this a good review anyway, but I probably would have. Well, I'll ask you, Rick. Is this going to end up on your top 10 mid list?
This would probably be on my mid list because it was fine. It was serviceable for the audience. I can imagine they would put this when they get the streaming. I could see this being played at daycare centers or like children's parties, and the kids. The kids who like Moana as a character, I think they'll like it. I think they'll like the little sister who has kind of an adorable nature to her. But there were other things that I didn't care for. I didn't care for kind of the contemporary elements to it. I think they relied a little too much on the coconut pirates. I'm sorry, that's what they are. And I thought that some of the songs were pretty good, or at least not bad. Some of them I could have done without, but I mean, it was mid. Yeah, I would say this is on my mid list because
I'll say this because I've been, I watched box office reports. I look at what people are, what Variety, what Hollywood Reporters are saying, especially over the weekend, and they were saying something like, "Oh, it's like The Rock's PR people are like going into overdrive, where they're like, oh, The Rock has done such a great job with, because you combining what Red One has made, which is barely anything compared to its budget, and then the fact that this did really well, and it's like, oh, and now hearing from Jacob, he's barely in it, or he's in it, only an hour in.
Well, he's
So the idea that
up.
he is the reason why this movie is
No.
successful is kind of laughable.
No, he's not. He's not the reason. They're not going to go see The Rock. They're going to go see Maui because they like the character. And at least here he didn't sing. He more like talk rapped his solo number. So that's a plus. In the first one, he actually tried to sing, which was horrifying. But
I do find it very interesting, though, just real quick. I do find it very interesting that the live action Moana, which I guess I just finished filming that one, The Rock is playing his character in that movie, but they already casted like a completely different girl to play the Moana lead character. So apparently that person wasn't good enough to be the
because the voice actress is probably, I would hate to say too old, but she's probably not the right age to play Moana as a teen. I don't know why we need a live action version. The animated version is just fine. And again, this movie is for kids and it's for the parents who liked the Moana. I think they will be fine with it.
If I can just say one thing in defense of this film, most of the tapes in this box, let me open it to you. Oh, fuck. Most of these tapes are shitty Disney movie sequels. Like, who the fuck has seen Hunchback of Notre Dame 2 or either of the Aladdin King sequels?
Yeah, do you have Aladdin or Jafar Needs Glasses?
Or King of Thieves?
The Aladdin sequels are bangers.
Return of Jafar is a king
That's why they made two of them. But the point is, Disney has always done this, to make one really good movie and then a whole bunch of really bad sequels to coast off the movie. The biggest issue with this movie is just that it has a $150 million budget. That's really the only problem I have with it whatsoever. It doesn't need to be good because the trend is not good.
Yeah, it's serviceable. That's what I found when I saw it. It's serviceable. It'll entertain kids. The parents will be fine with it. It has, I guess, at least the first two numbers were fine, but I wasn't overwhelmed with it. And I always have to remember, I'm not the target audience, but it was fine. It was serviceable. I didn't hate the Moana 2. But I did. Oh, one thing I don't know if I mentioned. I don't like that it set up a Moana 3. It's like the mid-credit scene took way too long to show up. I mean, most of the audience had already left, and the only reason I saw it was because I was still gathering my things when you had that kind of mid-credit scene. It's like, no, they didn't need to do that, and I don't need the hint of a Moana 3 or the return of that big crab. I don't really care about the crab who had the worst song.
Shiny.
Let's be honest though, real quick.
Shiny is terrible. Shiny's a terrible song because I hate a song that rhymes shiny with hiney. All right, that's poor songwriting.
I'm glad I've never actually sat down to watch Moana properly. Fuck that movie.
Yeah.
But real quick here, I mean, not only is it going to set up a Moana 3, which especially after the money it's making out of the box office, you're going to get one whether you want it or not. But on top of that, they're also going to do the live action one. You can only assume that if that one is a success, they'll do a part 2 of the live action one as well. So they're going to be making Moana films for a while.
Moana live action.
The trend of watching a live action version of an animated version that you've already seen is just completely idiotic. And I say this as someone who actually liked the remake of The Jungle Book, which I thought was great. But other than that, I don't understand.
It's a copy of a copy of a copy, a Xerox of a Xerox. That's all they're doing. They're just reprinting the same material and making it slightly different, just slightly different. And it's just feeding the same fucking mouths, the same exact, contents.
I was going to say, nobody in this day and age know what a Xerox is.
Well, Xerox machine, copy machine.
Does anyone remember the old FedEx stores? Do they still have those?
Sure. Yeah, we do. Office. Yeah, we do.
For context, I've never seen one of those. For a second, I thought they were made up for that one Robin Williams movie.
Kinko's.
Yep, there you go.
I think we have a couple in El Paso.
But I think that Hollywood keeps doing this. They keep putting it on black, or going to the betting slip on DraftKings and saying, "Yeah, I'm going to take Kansas City again this week to cover the spread," even though they haven't the last 7 weeks. That's what they're doing. They just keep putting money back into these things where it's like, hey, even though it didn't make enough money. I mean, Moana 2 is doing great, I think, actually financially, but there's a lot of examples where they're not making their money back, and hey, let's do another one, and it's like, what? Stop.
Well,
Stop it. Please stop.
I think.
Well,
I
because
think,
this one, real quick, because this one is on pace to do much better than the first one, and yeah, they
But I
got
think
more coming up on the line.
I think it's due to the lack of actual options to go to the theater to see something that would appeal primarily to families. I mean, what are you going to take them to? What are you going to take your kids to see? Like your small kids, are you going to take them to see Honora? Are you going to take them
Right.
to? Are you going to take them to see Emilia Perez? I mean, you're
If
going to
you
take them
saw-
to see.
So you
There's-
saw the record Thanksgiving box office this week. Of course, record inflation. But it's like if you looked at the 5 movies, it was like it's all shit. It's Red 1, it's Moana 2,
Wicked.
you can help. Yeah, Wicked. Yeah, I just completely blanked on that one. Gladiator 2, I guess. But this is what they're all terrible movies, or if they're not terrible, they're just like passively watchable.
Yeah, they're serviceable. That's the thing. So when you have a massive gap for an audience for a film that you know is going to be pretty family friendly, it maybe has 1 or 2 questionable things, but it's basically going to appeal to fans of the first Moana. Yeah, you're gonna go out there and see it because it's going to be something that you think you can take the whole family to, and the kids will like it. The kids will be entertained by the colors and the cute sister character. So that's why it's successful. It's not a reflection of quality. It's a reflection of a known commodity. So that's why it's number 1, and that's why we're going to be stuck with Moana 3. I'm not enthusiastic about.
Then again, I mean, the first one came out 8 years ago, so is Moana 3 going to come out in like 2032? Is that the release date for that film?
They'll probably spin it around faster. But again, there's no need for a Moana 3. I mean, what is she going to do? Is she finally going to meet Captain Cook? What is left for them to do with this?
The only reason that they're going to make another one is to make money. I mean, that's all they care about.
If I can push back on that idea a little bit, I don't think the notion that there is no need or nobody asked for a movie is a valid criticism, because how many movies did we ask for in the first place?
We didn't ask for a Gladiator 2.
What they're saying is that it's for an audience in mind when they make it. That we're not going to alienate people. We're going to actually try to bring people to the theater. I think that you can pinpoint to how movies were made in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, even up to 2010, and now how they've been made the last 15 years, where it's like, okay, these are niche art projects at best, or they're alienating white men or conservative thinkers or Christians or whatever, and I think you can at least point to that. And listen, I am the least interested in those ideological culture war conversations. I just want good movies. But good movies start at producing something that people will want to see, that people will remember, that people will want to buy the DVD of and recommend it. And like word of mouth is dead right now when it comes to movies. People don't care. So that's at least my perspective on it.
No. And Disney, for whatever reason, has been operating on a content creator schedule where they felt like they needed to just shit out absolutely as much watchable content as they possibly can. And they've ruined the Marvel franchise. They've ruined the Star Wars franchise. They've absolutely rat-fucked Indiana Jones. And so, honestly, I'd be a lot more receptive to Moana 2 if they hadn't burned absolutely all of their goodwill with the audience. Like, I really liked Moana 1. I think that movie fucking badass.
I did too.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I just felt like it was a self-contained story, and I didn't feel like it needed a sequel. With Moana 1, I like that movie because Moana is a great female hero who's not an obnoxious girl boss, and even though she doesn't have a romantic interest in it, she has a cooperative relationship with a male character. Like it's not a movie that denigrates men, despite being like really cool. I have no confidence in the current people who are working at Disney to be able to put together a story like that. I think they're gonna fucking ruin this character. I haven't seen the movie yet, but like that's my theory. I have no confidence in them now, and certainly not with a third movie. I just didn't feel like it needed another movie. It certainly didn't need a live action remake. Good Lord.
Moana is still not the girl boss. She's still prone to make mistakes. So that's a plus. And that was a plus in the first one, in that she was learning. She was not perfect from the get-go. So I don't see the point. But we have to remember again, this was, I think, meant as a TV show. And they somehow just transformed it into a feature film because they figured we might as well make some money off of it instead of just dumping it on Disney Plus. It's fine. It's serviceable. I didn't hate it. I was not overwhelmed with it. I preferred the original. So I'm not enthusiastic about a Moana 3. I don't think we need a Moana 3. I don't think we need a lot of the sequels or live action versions and prequels that we're getting. But Disney's determined to milk their properties dry until they're husks of what they were. And yeah, so
well, for me, I'm gonna go ahead and just give this movie a 2 out of 5 for me. It's not terrible, but it's like I really just can't point out anything memorable about this film. The songs were all just pretty much misses for me. Like I don't think that there's gonna be any particular song, or like the first movie, that people are gonna be singing like months down the line or anything like that. Like it's just kind of a weak effort overall for me. So yeah, I'll just go 2 out of 5 for me. What about you, Rick?
I'm gonna give it a 2.5. Again, I think kids who like the first Moana will enjoy it. I think their parents will, be fine with it. You're right. I don't remember the songs, but I didn't think the songs were terrible. At least the first two, and maybe the one that the Batwoman sings, "Get Lost," I think it's called. But the other songs, like, not that good, and I don't think we needed to have more of the Coconut Pirates. I think they were just they just double down too much on characters from the first one, and yeah, so it's fine. 2.5. I didn't hate it. It's better. I would prefer watching this than Gladiator 2, or trying to think of other, like Conclave. Maybe I'm not sure
Yeah.
what Conclave again.
No, not
And
a high bar.
I didn't watch it, so obviously I have no rating. I did want to say real quick though, I did see Saturday Night this past weekend. I did see The Apprentice, the Donald Trump movie. I did see shit, now I'm spacing on it. Awesome. And I'll say this, The Apprentice is not a good movie. But it's watchable for a long stretch of time, and it goes along like a biopic.
It's fine until it gets to Blue Monday. Then it just falls off.
Yeah, it didn't feel like they knew what to say about Trump. It's like, okay, so the worst thing is like, okay, Ivana's with somebody and he's sleeping with her, and he kind of forgets about Roger Stone or leaves him out in the cold as he's dying of AIDS. And
Roy Cohn, you mean?
Roy Cohn, I'm sorry, not Roger Stone. Yeah, Roger Stone is obviously a different person. And
Roger Stone is Roy Cohn's pool boy.
Right. But I do think that Sebastian Stan gave actually a pretty good performance of Donald Trump. I think that Jeremy Strong, who I think is an excellent actor, did a very good job with Roy Cohn, and so that's at least there. But really, it's like a 2.5 out of 5. Saturday Night is again another 2.5 out of 5, where it's like, okay, there's some impressions, and that's interesting to see in a historical context, but there's not much of a movie there. And I like Jason Reitman. I'm willing to defend him when he does a good job. Again, it's just kind of feels like a half-hearted sort of like, oh, we just need an excuse to make a movie kind of thing, which it's fine.
I don't see the point of making a story about the creation of Saturday Night Live.
I did see Emilia Perez, which is in the running now for the worst movie of the year. It is challenging. I Saw the TV Glow, because it was that fucking atrocious. Like, it's a transgender fucking movie and a musical and a melodrama. Like, my head wanted to fucking explode watching this movie.
It's in the running for Best Picture along with Conclave. Just for the record,
I can't even recommend that people watch it. I think
it's not even an actual movie. That's what I said. Like,
I've yet to see it on Netflix, and now I'm terrified. Now, I like Saturday Night probably more than you did, Rob.
Yeah.
I thought they did a good. I thought Gabriel LaBelle did a good job. I thought Dylan O'Brien did a good job, and I thought Corey Michael Smith did a good job as Lorne Michael, Dan Aykroyd, and Chevy Chase, respectively. But I mean, it wasn't. I thought it was pretty good, but not a reason to like, oh wow, we finally get the true story of Saturday Night Live. It's like, that's nice, but not
All
something
right.
that would appeal.
Well, let's go ahead and swing over and close the show out with our closer, and that is our good buddy Hunter Biden.
Before we go out to the movie things,
Yeah.
I just want to plug Paddington in Peru, January 19th. It's already come out internationally. I already saw the clip. Already saw the cab of it. Fantastic movie. Aguilar, Land of the Andes. It's being compared to. It's being compared to many, many great films. So I just wanted to point.
Yeah,
Is Paddington in Peru like this generation's Aguirre, the Wrath of God?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Anyway, Hunter Biden got pardoned for basically anything that he may have done over the course of the last 10 years. Yeah, right. So Joe Biden pardoned his son after repeatedly stating through the White House that he was never going to do this. Like, this is actually like a big sticking point in his entire administration, that he wasn't going to pardon his son. He wasn't going to pardon his son, and he ended up doing it anyway. He's given him full clemency, full pardon based on anything that he may have been involved with in the last 10 years. So it's a full and unconditional pardon of Hunter Biden that covered the offenses against the United States that he has committed or may have committed or taken part of during the period of January 1st, 2014 through essentially January 1st, 2024. That's the release from the Biden administration. Now, of course, here, Hunter Biden says that this is his statement. I've admitted to you and taken responsibility for my mistakes during the darkest days of my addiction. Mistakes that have been exploited to publicly humiliate and shame me and my family for political sport. Ooh, dishonest pieces of crap. So despite all this, I have maintained my sobriety for more than 4 years. Okay. Because of my deep faith and my underwhelming love and support of my friends and family and the thrones of addiction, I've squandered opportunities and advantages in the recovery, given the opportunity to make amends whenever possible to rebuild our lives, and has never taken the mercy for what's been afforded to me. I will never take clemency, and I will be given today for granted. We'll devote the life that I have rebuilt to helping those who are still sick and suffering. So here's basically what's happening here. They're trying to frame it as if, oh, well, that Hunter Biden, he had a little problem with the drugs for a while and made some mistakes. But I mean, we're just going to go ahead and give him a presidential pardon for anything that he may have done during that time period. This goes all the way back to, the shady dealings of Uranium One and the Ukraine and a whole bunch of other things that he's been alleged to be involved with over the last 10 years. And I guess we can't even say alleged anymore, because if it wasn't alleged, then why would you give him a pardon that stretches out a period of 10 years? And it says that not only was he pardoned for that, he's basically pardoned for every single federal crime that he committed over the last decade, including 7 years, which Joe Biden was the VP and in the entirety of Joe Biden's presidency. So it says that the start date of 2024, Hunter's pardon is extremely notable because it coincides with Joe becoming the de facto viceroy of Ukraine. Hunter, who had never been to the Ukraine, started raking in millions as part of a corrupt Ukrainian oligarch back in April of 2014. So this is the real story that they're burying here. They're burying Hunter Biden's connections to the Ukraine, Joe Biden's involvement with those involvements as well. That's what they're trying to fish out. There's pretty much, you could argue that there's probably treason happening behind closed doors with that entire situation with foreign countries, and now the whole thing's being shoved away here. So I'm going to play this little clip right here. This is all the times that the White House lied to you and told you that this wasn't going to happen, only for them to do exactly what they said that they wouldn't do. So here's a short little clip for you guys to enjoy.
You have no sound.
Oh, is there a sound?
No sound.
Yeah, why is there no sound?
Your StreamYard sharing audio?
Yeah. Yeah, give me one second.
Here, I think we just have Theo dub over it the entire time.
Yeah. Unless the audio got claimed after the fact, there should be sound on there, so. But let me try it one more time. Yeah, no idea, but we can still listen to what he's saying.
I'm not going to believe that Joe Biden is going to take away the presidency. No, of course Joe Biden's not going to take away his son.
He actually sounds like a white lady, though. This is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
I just want to make it very, very clear that we're not going to pardon Hunter Biden, so stop asking us that question.
We're not going to pardon Hunter Biden, so don't worry about it. It's perfectly fine.
I'm gonna
I
say
don't know
Her
if this
hair,
woman knows
her
what that
hair
word
got
means.
substantially worse over time.
Yeah.
Here she is,
as
weeping
much as
willow.
she's a terrible press secretary, okay, and has basically done the bidding of a pretty corrupt administration. I will say I will always feel for press secretaries because that is, I believe, the hardest fucking job in the world. To constantly have to go out. That's why I felt bad for Sean Spicer when the first time Trump was in there, because it was a war zone in there. And it's just like, if the media hates you, oh my God, like, just, I'm actually excited for Trump's new press secretary when his administration starts, because she's just not going to take any shit. But that job is just unforgivable, like unforgiving and impossibly difficult. So, and that's why a lot of those press secretaries don't last very long. They only last a year or 2 years.
Yeah, being the press secretary at this Biden administration, it's like your job is every week you're a parent and you have to go to a parent-teacher conference where your child threw feces in the classroom, and that, and you have to go in there and deal with it. Right, you have to deal with those consequences, but you have to defend it a little bit too. You have to be like, well, he's just expressing himself. Have you ever considered that? Maybe he doesn't.
Or gaslighting Americans about the cost of hot dogs being cheaper by 6 cents. It's like, we're okay. This is the kind of stuff where like, what's her face said, "Let them eat cake," and then she got murdered. Okay, so
Marie
like,
Antoinette, and she never said that.
Yeah, well, I don't care. It's still, it's the point. It's like, you don't mock the the people you're supposed to be serving, because ultimately,
But Rob, we are in the Biden boom, okay? We've had
Anyway, Cool Classic Cage has a super chat here. It says that he'll OD on fentanyl lace crack in a year. Biden did what a father would do, but he didn't save his son. Like I said, I think by pardoning Hunter, he's also trying to save his own ass as well, because we're going to look back at the entire Biden administration from the course of just 4 short years. We were probably lied to more than any other presidential campaign in the history of this country. That's saying a lot. I mean, you were lied to about the activities regarding his son. Keep in mind, wasn't the New York Post banned from social media in the 2020 election when they were bringing up these allegations against Hunter Biden back then as well? Only for this to happen, of course.
They went after James Rosen's parents because he brought it up back when Burisma was a problem.
But it's just a father showing his love for his son.
This is complete bullshit, by the way. Biden did not pardon his son. Jill Biden pardoned Hunter. Because I guarantee you, she is the one that was fucking whispering in this old fucking brain dead idiot's ear, saying, you know what? We got nothing else to lose. We're not coming back next year. Why not? Pardon our son. Make sure he can't be charged, because we know that Trump is going to do it, even though he said he wasn't. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Folks, she was freaking attending his cabinet meetings. Jill Biden has been running this country for 4 fucking years. Of course, it's a fucking woman's fault that this fucking country went to hell. Because her fucking husband is not mentally capable of running this country. Yes, he was placed out like a puppet to write down and sign the fucking executive orders to sign all this shit. And they fucking typed up a goddamn statement saying, this was political bias, and that's why I'm pardoning him. Motherfucker, it was your own DOJ.
And if you know about Hunter Biden, if you know the litany of shit he has gotten into with sleeping with underage girls, prostitutes, smoking crack. I mean, there's videos all over the internet, by the way.
Didn't he knock up his sister-in-law?
He slept with his dead brother's ex or widowed wife. And this guy is a complete fucking scumbag. However, all of that aside, look. I understand the whole pardon thing. Like, this is the rule. Presidents can pardon whoever the fuck they want. And so at the end of the day, here's the thing. If you're going to do it, own it. If you're going to do it, don't apologize for it. Own it. You're going to get criticized no matter what. You're going to fucking get criticized from here to eternity, because that's the political game and whatever. But I agree with all of you guys. The thing with, I think that there's enough smoke around his dealings in Ukraine I mean, remember Tony Babinski, the guy that Tucker Carlson interviewed around the 2020 election? I mean, I do think that there's more there that we really haven't gotten into, and the fact that this pardon wasn't a normal pardon, by the way. This was a pardon that was like backdated or whatever 10 years. And
Almost
so
11 years.
11 years. So I mean, I
Almost
find a
11
lot of that to be suspicious, even though the whole pardon system is like, look, if you're gonna say that it was fine for every other president, it's like, it's just,
look, the president
it
has
is what it
wide
is.
the president has wide pardon powers. I've never objected to the president having wide pardon powers. It's one of the few privileges that he has or she has when in office. I would just kind of wonder, I mean, do we even know if that cocaine that they found in the Situation Room, are they finally going to
It was
admit that that was
fucking
Hunter?
his. They destroyed
Are we
the
going to
evidence,
finally
but
are we finally going to admit that it was his and not just some random tourist that just wandered into the Situation Room and they really wanted us to believe that? The problem with this pardon, and the president is free to pardon anyone whom he has the legal authority to, is that he said that he wouldn't. And so many people were adamant that, oh, look, this shows how decent and kind dear Uncle Joe is, how, he's going to respect the law, he's going to put up his own son, and he kind of not sacrifice him, but he's going to allow the justice system to work because that's the honorable Uncle Joe that we have. And once he got thrown out by his own party, he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna just take these last few months that I have in power, and I'm gonna just sign away Hunter Biden's legal troubles because I can. That's the thing. But now people are justifying it by saying, oh, well, Trump is a convicted felon, so of course, you can't criticize. I don't know if Trump said that he was going to pardon Hunter. All I know is that the president has every right to pardon anyone he wants, but he did go on record repeatedly saying that he was not going to, and now he did. And also, just kind of quick clarification: I believe Hunter is Jill's stepson, not the actual son. So we need to just kind of clarify that.
Yeah. All right. Regardless, it's still a mother's love towards a son. It's still a very maternal thing.
Hell, she might be protecting her own ass. Who knows? Like, who knows what that family's been into? So,
if I may, here's another thing that a lot of people, I'm hoping this fucking happens because it kind of is happening. I am hoping that there is such an erosion of trust in the government and as well in the Democratic Party due to the fact that this happened, because the Democrats are not fucking sitting for this. They are saying this was the dumbest fucking thing he could have ever done. And it's like, well, here's the thing. You're right, because now you just set a precedent. I hope that Donald Trump pardons the January 6ers, and not just the ones who were wrongfully accused. I hope he pardons every single fucking one of them now, including the ones that made a mess in the fucking Capitol. I hope he fucking pardons every single fucking one of them. Not only that, I hope he pardons himself. Because now, if you want to fuck with the American people like this, you want to fuck with the will of the people like this, fine. We'll fuck with you right back. That's what I would do if I was Trump.
Now the president
would say,
you want us to call martial law for 3 hours?
Please don't.
Look, I will say that Orange is correct in that the president can issue mass pardons. President Carter pardoned all the draft dodgers who fled to Canada during the Vietnam War. So the president does, if he decides to, when President-elect Trump becomes President Trump again, he has the legal authority to pardon anyone involved in the the worst moment in American and world history. So he can do that. He can even pardon that shaman who was like the head of the Loyal Order of Water Buffaloes if he wanted to. He can do that. So whether he will or not, I don't know. But Orange is correct. He can issue blanket pardons if he so wishes. I don't know. Did he make that pledge? Did he
Well,
say that he
the
was
January
going to?
6th, the January 6th people is almost directly tied to Trump's ego. I mean, are you kidding me? There's no way he's not partying those people.
Yeah.
It's just like it's about him. It's literally about him, and he gets to go up. He gets to sort of stand on the soapbox and be like and talk about how disgraceful these people were treated, and they're American patriots, and they were protesting what they felt was whatever. You know,
It has been 4 years. It has been 4 years. I don't know if all of them have gone to trial. I think
there haven't been people who haven't been sentenced yet. I mean, the way that the DOJ has acted is reprehensible. And here's the thing: it doesn't matter if you agree with those people going. I didn't agree. I would have never done that. By the way, it was so fucking stupid. And yet, it is a fundamental right to be able to express yourself, to protest, and to be heard by your government. And yes, there are individual people that may have done things that were wrong or crossed the line or broke the law, assault, whatever. That's fine. But by and large, most of those people are innocent. And whenever the DOJ has a fucking bone to pick, they absolutely crucify anybody they can to send a message. You embarrassed us, and now we're going to throw the fucking book at you, even though, you know, we have violent gang members and illegal assholes coming over the border who are guilty of who knows what. But hey, we're going to make an example out of you because we feel embarrassed, like we have egg on our face.
The problem is that now they've cut the pardon has undercut any sense of, oh, the Democrats are going to stand for the process and the legal process, and, you know, we're going to hold everyone accountable. They can't say that anymore because the president looks like he did something questionable in pardoning his own son for crimes that may have been committed even before he was president. That's the issue. And kind of disagreeing with Orange on one point, I don't think there are some Democrats and some liberal commentators who, to their credit, have criticized Biden for this, but most of them are running this idea of, oh, you know, this is just a father showing his love for his son, or you know how he's Hunter's being abused by political opponents. I don't know if you can say that anymore. It undercuts their message, and it just shows that there's just, when you're in power, you will take advantage of it. I'm sorry, it does not matter who it is. It does not matter whether you are a Democrat or a Republican. You will abuse power, though, as it has been pointed out, when a president does it, it means it's not illegal.
Richard Nixon. Yeah, I love this.
But by the way, just
real
quick, there was a movie that's coming out this week called The Order, which is basically a thinly veiled attack against white wing Christians, right? And essentially in that film, it was like a bunch of, you know, neo-Nazis who they claim were Christians. When you read the real story, it turns out they were all like Mormon extremists, so they weren't actually Christians. But on top of that, the very end of the film, because it's all about, you know, white domestic terror, they basically compare the Oklahoma City bombing to January 6th. In the areas of, you know, domestic terrorism that, you know, that took so many lives on that horrible day. So it's just like, it's very, very obvious like what these people are doing, but behind closed doors here, especially with situations like this. And yeah, now that they've pardoned Hunter Biden, Trump has absolutely no excuse not to pardon all the people from January 6th and get them out of there day one.
I will say that, I mean, I saw the trailer for The Order. I will say that that the press constantly blamed talk radio for the Oklahoma City bombing, and, you know, Rush Limbaugh was like the mastermind, or that he encouraged the bombing. I believe that one of the firefighters who went into the Oklahoma and tried to rescue children said, "Hey, look, actually, I'm a fan of yours, and we don't agree with anything that they did." The public at large rejected the Timothy McVeigh's of the world, and they were horrified and angry. I mean, the guy was booed. You don't cheer. They didn't cheer him, and he was unrepentant. He was just evil. So I don't know, but you have to remember, Jacob, January 6th is the worst moment in all human history. There was the most traumatic thing to ever happen in the history of the Republic and the history of all mankind. I mean, September 11th, December 7th, they all pale compared to this riot by a bunch of yahoos who really should have known better. All right.
Well, we all get to look back in history at all the journalists who pretended like this was the worst event to happen on American soil, and we get to laugh at them. And that's the great thing about history and context and being and living through it as it's occurring, is that you can remember what actually happened. I mean, up until you're dead. But I just, you know what I mean, and that's fascinating. It's like you can write whatever you want. You can be owned by this multinational news organization, but at the end of the day, it's like we saw it, and the whole anti-Russia thing, the whole and I know that's something else, but it's like that goes back to the CIA and the Cold War. I mean, it's like if you know anything about what they were saying about Russia and the propaganda, it's the same fucking playbook. It's the same exact one, and it's like you guys couldn't even develop a new narrative. You just are reusing the old one. And I know Americans are stupid, because people in general are stupid. And, I honestly believe the intelligence level is roughly the same around the world. Most people are fucking morons. Okay. So there's my one elitist comment of the night, but so I get it, but also, can you do better? Like you people kill people for a living, among other things. You couldn't come up with a better propaganda campaign than your fucking recycled Cold War garbage. I mean, seriously. That's the most remarkable thing, is the lack of respect I now have for our intelligence agencies. I know they're evil. I know they're complicit. I know they're terrible and probably need to be dismantled at this point. But holy shit, like, are you that big and that expansive that you only need like half a competent staff to run these operations? I don't know, but like, holy shit, guys, do better, or don't. Actually, don't do better.
I like how Rob's opinion can be swayed by a really good trailer.
Yes.
Come on, guys. Just try and sell it.
Actually, I hate trailers. I try not to watch them, but yeah.
All right. Well, any final thoughts on the Hunter Biden story for wrap things up?
I got one. This is what's irritating to me is the Democrats' excuses that this is an act of love of a father towards his son. Anyone who knows anything about addiction knows that the worst thing you can do is stop them from meeting with the consequences of their actions. The fact that Joe Biden has been bailing out Hunter his entire life is how we got in this situation in the first place. So I just heard a report that he owes $300,000 in back rent, and he's using the Secret Service to keep his landlord from evicting him. I'm like, this is someone who's never had consequences in his life. Like, actually, some consequences might not be the worst thing.
And let's be entirely honest. The real reason why he pardoned Hunter is because he knew Trump was going to do it. Because I'm convinced that Trump was going to pardon. Oh my God, if I can talk. He was going to pardon Hunter Biden as an olive branch to be like, look, I'm not as extremist as you thought or whatever. And they knew that because it's writing on the wall. And they were like, fuck you, Trump, we're going to do it first.
No,
I honestly think that they pardoned him because they're more worried about if Trump gets in that he'll start looking into Hunter Biden. So the kind of a preemptive strike, it's like we pardon him before Trump takes power. Then whatever Trump finds out, there's nothing he can do about it.
No, I'm with the theory. I'm with the theory that that Hunter was pardoned as a f off to the Democrats who performed that coup d'état to get rid of dear Uncle Joe. And it's like, yeah, okay, you're gonna throw me out. You're gonna substitute Kamala for president. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna take my presidential pardon powers and I'm gonna forgive my son for everything that he's done. So
Raza
take
had
that.
Raza had it right the first time. Trump should have punted Hunter Biden. He should have kicked the baby, just bam, right through the fucking window.
Yep. So that's it. That's all that I have to say here. I feel like Cinnamon Toast crap. So I think probably now is a good time to go ahead and sign off here. So I'll give you guys the floor here to talk about anything that you have coming up. We'll start with our new buddy here, or our new person. This is your first time here on the bar room. Sorry I wasn't, as 100% as I should have been in here for the show. But go ahead and let people know where they can find more of you.
I'm Arza. I do everything's over at Arza Chats. I'm like the cringe gay version of Yellow Flash or Hypnotic. I pick a single news story and I do a video on it a day, usually 20 minutes or so. And I've just been trying to get into more live streams because I found that live streaming is as fun as it looks, and I really enjoy doing panel streams. And if I could just say that I got myself fangirling a little bit because I've been watching Latino Slant for a few years now, especially on Midnight's Edge Espanol. So when he joined the chat, I'm like squealing inside.
All right, and going over to our boy Theo, what you got coming up?
Hey, yeah, I got a lot of comedy stuff going up. And also, I'm going to be launching my own live stream. It's going to be a debut episode of Touch Grass with Theo Snodgrass. Is going to be this Saturday at 9 a.m. Go ahead and follow me on YouTube at Theo_Snodgrass. Follow me on Instagram at Theo_Snodgrass. Follow me on Twitter at TheoSnod. And that is where you can keep up to date on all the cool stuff I'm doing.
All right. Eddie.
Eddie_YT on Twitter.com. They pulled out all the tile in my bathroom. So I don't have a bathroom. And it's really, really annoying to drive 1.5 miles to the local McDonald's to use the toilet.
Oh, that sucks.
I know.
They like the toilet gremlins or something? Like, you know, some aliens came in, took your bathroom tiles?
They only have one.
They call them Mexicans.
No, they only have one toilet at the McDonald's. Like, it's guarded because you know we have random.
God, California's fucking weird, man.
Yeah. So I gotta like hand.
And you just see your papers before you can take a dookie.
Listen, when you gotta buy the McGuffin literally in order to get into the place, it's really annoying.
Oh yeah.
To be fair, if you're ordering the McGuffin, the toilet's probably the best place for you. So,
yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, that's the drama that's going on in my life. Also, I had like this weird thing during Thanksgiving. My uncle, because Orange brought it up earlier, my uncle told like my nephew, like, Trump is going to take away, he's going to deport all the trans people. He made it in Spanish. He's going to deport all the trans people. And he said it directly to my nephew, which is weird because my nephew isn't trans, but he isn't like, I mean, he's a little, you know, one of them. But it was just really strange that he would like out my nephew. So, yeah, no, I know.
But again, not all gay people have to, you know, belong to the same rainbow.
So,
well, like I said, hopefully that bathroom situation gets corrected sooner rather than later. Cider.
Eddie Brock _YT.
Jacob's tired. I'm past. Jacob's tired. Let's go.
Rick.
All right. Well, I'm going to try to celebrate my birthday. Hopefully, I'll find that dominatrix that Rob
45.
has. And yeah, I'll just be writing more reviews. I'm going to try to watch Sonic 2 so I can get ready for Sonic 3.
Such a good movie.
And well, I like the first Sonic. I just published my review for that. So yeah, it's just more reviews. Trying to celebrate my birthday, and if Rob could send me his dominatrix, I would be thrilled. You know, you can get this or that my birthday gift. So thank you, Roberto. And that's pretty much it.
All right, Rob.
Yeah, when women love you, they'll do a lot of things. So you can find me over my Twitter, Rob_Motto. There's a lot of betting content that I'm constantly putting out because I keep almost getting a lot of money and not quite hitting it. So we'll get one here before the end of the season or not. It's fine. But yeah, just reviews are coming out. Looking forward to hopefully something good like Juror number 2. Kind of getting into my top, top movies of the year. But yeah, that's it. And thank you for tuning in.
When women love you, they do a lot of things. It's a really great slogan for a massage parlor.
Yep. Or anything.
Orange.
Alrighty. Well, I'm trying to get back to 1,600 subs because fuck you, YouTube. This month I'm doing under the radar movies for my theme streams. Movies that kind of slid under the radar, then became famous. I just did Haywire today, so check that out. I also did a video on Snow White, how basically nobody cares whether the movie's going out or not. 1s and 2s with Mara this month are Home Alone 1 and 2. The singles are Scrooged and Mouse Hunt. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just trying to get up to 2,000 subs before the end of the year. I doubt it there, but I was going to do a giveaway, but I guess just nobody wanted some pretty cool shit. But anyway, that's just me. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I feel like crap. I think my fever's at 109. So 100.9. I'm not dying. I just at 100.9.
I was about to say.
Yeah, I think 100.9 means that you're literally in cardiac arrest or dead.
You're
so,
dead.
Definitely not
your
dead.
brain boiled.
Yeah, they're definitely not that bad. But so yeah, depending on how I feel over the next 24 hours, I should be on the 01 show tomorrow night. Friday we'll be with Nerdigans talking about Pokemon anime. We may do a Friday night movie club or a Saturday movie club this weekend. I'll talk to Rob and Rick about it in the next couple of days and see if we can do something there. This coming Sunday, we'll have the Bible ends, and then we'll be back here again next week, same time, same place. Like I said, over the next 2025, we're going to be moving this show an hour early, so we'll be starting at 8 o'clock, and we'll be doing the Movie House show 2025 as well. So that's everything that I got coming up here. Thank you to all of my guests for joining us here on tonight's episode. To all you lovely people in the chat, thank you for joining us for another week. I'm going to go ahead and go straight to bed because I feel like crap. Adios, goodbye, and good night.
Okay. Oh.
Making your way through the daily grind takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to tune away? All those nights when you're feeling low, the rent is overdue, and your coffee maker's broken, your luck just seems to skew, and your boss is always on your case. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. Wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. Roll out of bed and you feel the dread. The morning's looking bleak, and your internet is down again. You haven't slept all week, and your car just broke down on the way. Be glad there's a place online where you can feel at ease. In the barroom podcast friends, we share our thoughts and tease. Every story shared, every laugh so free. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. So here's to the moments we all hold dear. In this barroom of the airwaves with friends so near. Every story shared, every heartfelt cheer. It's more than just a podcast, it's where we steer.
I still don't feel like I know how to shoot these things.